Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pylon Show, episode number 149, the special recap Christmas New Year's edition with my fellow SC2 commentators. It's going to be a fun evening of just a lot of nonsense, hopefully. Let's go ahead and check in with my four lovely guests, and we should get a fifth one, but that one is always late in real life and online, so we're not surprised by that. Let's kick things off with Fear Dragon. How have the holidays been so far, mate, and how are you doing?
Oh, thank you, Kev. I'm doing okay. I took a couple of weeks off of work, was going to enjoy the holidays, immediately got sick, was worried that it was COVID, had to quarantine, tested, realized it wasn't COVID, was really happy for like a day, went to go pick up my dad from the airport, who immediately came back and was like, I have shortness of breath and also a fever, and also it's time for us to quarantine again. So I'm back in quarantine, baby, but this is my little toast to coming and hanging out with some good old friends to make up for all of it, and also drinking when I'm probably going to have COVID in like 2 days.
To me, that just sounds like you have a lot of time to throw up at Zelda, and that means that we're all in for a very good time. Sorry about the COVID thing, mate, but I'm sure that everything is going to be all right, and I'm very happy that you decided to join us today. Next up, the man with the beautiful Christmas tree, streaming non-stop throughout the month of December, crushing it. Heard Pokimane is jealous about those sub numbers. How are we doing, Wardy?
Yeah, messaging me every day asking for tips and all sorts. Just can't get enough. I'm good, mate. Just enjoying the holiday season and enjoying doing a couple shorter streams and just chilling and having a good time.
Alrighty. How was Christmas and any end of the year plans, mate?
Gonna stream tomorrow. Yeah, no, not really. Just chilling, playing some games and stuff. Christmas was good. Just fun family stuff and hanging out. Yeah, it was a good time.
Sounds like a good time. Next up, Steadfast. I think this is the first time that you're joining us for the end of the year recap. So how you doing, mate? How's Christmas been? And any feisty plans for tomorrow night?
Yeah, it's been really good actually. First of all, super happy to be here. It's pretty cool considering at the beginning of the year I hadn't done any premiere events or anything like that. So I'm just really happy to join you guys. Thanks for having me. And for Christmas, not really anything out of the ordinary. I got about 36 hours straight to relax, which was pretty awesome. I was pretty hyped about that. Other than that, just family stuff. Same thing as Wardy for tomorrow, just a little short stream. And other than that, we're kind of under soft protocol for COVID here as well. One of the housemates got COVID, but he's been hiding in his room this whole time. We developed a little altar for him where we can deliver food just outside of his room, and he collects it. Fortunately, the rest of us all tested negative, but he's kind of been trapped up there. So we brought him some ham the other day. So.
I did not expect this much COVID talk in just our intros, but I do get it. It is the pandemic that we're living in. Hopefully you and your roommate will be fine too, and obviously we're happy to have you here, mate, and I'm particularly looking forward to some things you have to say about the entire year, because I know you've been watching a lot of StarCraft, so I'm sure you have plenty of stuff to talk about. And last but not least, for now, we should have one more guest joining. My Nady Poo, I believe you've been traveling a little bit for the Christmas holidays, is that right?
Yeah, no, we went up to Katie's parents for Christmas, and we had a really nice time. Got to watch football. I got wrecked in my fantasy league. I feel like I get good players every season, and I always end up going like 4-11. It's awful, but we had a good time. Apparently, it doesn't snow a tremendous amount like all the time in Washington, but we kind of got snowed in on Christmas Day up there, so it ended up being like that perfect like Hallmark card moment. So it was a nice time. Little tricky getting back home, but we figured it out. We're here and we're just chilling. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for New Year's Eve. I don't know, Kev. I don't have you or Todd over here to party with.
Well, it's not like there's any parties happening over here, mate. But that's funny because at first when you started talking about your fantasy football league, I was like, this sounds awfully lot like the Jets. You know, they've got good players, they get their hopes up, but they always end up 4-11 or something along those lines. So I was like, Nate, are you confusing the two or?
That's a good storyline, Kevin. Who will make the playoffs first, me in fantasy football or the Jets in real life? Nobody knows.
Oh, I know. I think it's gonna be you, mate.
I had Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, man. If I can't win with them and DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know if I'm ever gonna win.
All right, well, guys, I'm obviously super happy to have you guys here. We tried to get a few other commentators as well, but yeah, Christmas holidays, people travel and they have busy times. But I think we're gonna have a fun night. It's basically gonna be a bit similar to the one that I did yesterday with a couple of the pros. But today we should have plenty of clips with working audio, and of course we've got different guests to talk about different things. I do want to start off with just a little round robin, guys. Like looking back at the entire year. How did we make it through a full year of COVID? Because last year it kind of started in March, and it all went on a bit longer than we expected. Now, basically, from the beginning to the end, we were all in the same boat. All of our lives have changed quite a bit. Why don't you start, Waddy? How did you make it through the year overall?
Um, Man, my answer to everything is just stream StarCraft, isn't it? It's kind of it's pretty boring. I don't know. I streamed a lot of StarCraft. I opened a lot of Pokemon cards. I think being able to go to Sweden a couple times was pretty much like the big one, right? Just actually being able to leave and like go somewhere different and do something else. Definitely broke up the last few months. I mean, I moved house at the start of the year, so that kept it interesting and kept things kind of moving along. But yeah, it definitely helped make like the last 6 months or so definitely just feel very different because there's something to look forward to again, something different than just like, oh, we're casting, another event next week, and they start to all meld into one. It's like the 7th season of DreamHack or something. We're casting the 45th match of the group stage for the day. So it was nice to go on a plane and sit in an airport for 9 hours for a layover. And, things you really don't realize you miss until you're there doing it.
Yeah. It's funny. Every now and then we just like pain, right? How's the year been for you, Ravi?
It's been okay, I would say. I think in some ways this was actually better than last year in terms of like how locked down and stuff we were, because we actually had, for the commentators, like some of us got to go travel out to Sweden and stuff and enjoy some of the studio broadcasts. That was so nice for me because I had not traveled at all to anywhere since COVID started until like the Sweden broadcast that I got to go out to the studios for and everything. So that was really nice. I think overall, like, yeah, it's been. I kind of echo a little bit of what Wardy said, where the events are starting to blend together a little bit, and I'm really excited for when we can get some like offline events again.
Fast, how has been 2021 to you?
I mean, I feel a little guilty saying this, but it's been like one of the best years of my life. Because like, I kind of started out with hadn't really broken into the the caster cabal yet, and now I'm drinking blood with all the boys, and we're chanting those rituals to keep everyone else out. No, honestly, it's just been a really
there are people who believe these things, by the way.
Wait, hold on. Dave, did you send your membership fee? To all the other casters this month. I didn't see the membership fee come in this month.
I didn't get
don't worry. It's checks in the mail.
Okay, cool.
Stranger things me out of existence. Yeah, no, it's been a really great year. For the first little bit of the year, traffic was a little bit lighter as well. So when I was going into work, everything was chilling there. I've similar to Wardy, but like Wardy's like the NHL, and I'm like the I don't know, one of the 57 leagues just below the NHL, where I'm like Wardy Jr. Like I cast maybe 80% as much as he does, but it's basically been whenever I can, I'm casting StarCraft. When I'm working. I got the housemates, so we're all there's people to keep me from going insane. It's just it's been good. It's been good.
I mean, never feel guilty about having a good year, mate. Come on, people need some positivity anyway. So I'm happy to hear that you've made the best of it. Nady, how's the year been for you? I believe you've been active with like several different things that obviously catch your interest every now and then. How's it been overall?
Yeah, it's been. I mean, it's been like some good stuff, some tough stuff. It's been hard for us out here. Being so far from family and not being able to travel for the last few years. This is the longest it's been since I've been to Pennsylvania since I've left. So I haven't had a gap like that, which has been hard, but I've been able to try some new things. I ended up doing the first Splitgate League, and I did some Naraka for the last few months. So that kind of got me through the end of the year. But overall, it was a fun year. I kind of tried to learn to do some different things. I was obviously trying a lot of stuff with my stream and whatnot, but I also got engaged to the most amazing woman that I've ever met. So I've been very happy about that. We're trying to we're in the process of trying to get our pre-approval so we can get a house and figure all that out some point in 2022. So a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to, and the year ended very strong. Probably highlight, I'll just say it quickly. Probably a big highlight for me was getting to see you guys, or at least some of you, in Sweden for the season 3 final. So that was definitely the best way. I think I could have made it to the end of this one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that kind of covers the next part I want to talk about already a little bit as well. But perhaps for your Dragon, since you kind of kept it somewhat brief, do you have any personal highlights for yourself, whether it's professional or StarCraft 2 related or just in life?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had definitely like getting to see everyone again. I honestly like I've talked to some of you guys about this behind the scenes and stuff, but I was feeling a little bit weird about like where my commentary was. It was hard to tell like how much of it was like burnout or COVID, all that stuff. I felt a lot better getting to like see everyone and hang out with everyone in Sweden. Honestly, like it made me really I walked away with that Sweden experience, like the studio broadcast, after having just quarantined for COVID for such a long time at that point, with 2 takeaways. One is that I really miss office work. Like I miss the feeling of being around coworkers, because we basically like we almost kind of were living together for like a week with our own rooms in a hotel, but we basically spent the entire days together for the most part. And then I just missed you guys, and I had a good time in Sweden, so that was definitely one of my big highlights. Other highlights I think would probably be stuff that we'll talk about later, but like getting to see some NA players doing well, like Estrella, popping off in the earlier part of the year, like getting to see Trigger, like some new talent coming up and stuff, besides just, what all the Europeans like to talk about with max packs and whatnot. So yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit because everyone's being very positive and sweet. But if all of our highlight was...
You asked me what my highlight was.
Yeah, but if the highlight was that we all traveled to a studio in Sweden without the players, where it was just the 6 of us, I understand that it made us happy. But if that was the highlight, then the year kind of sucked, no? Because we used to do that 12 times a year with fans and players and everything else. So are we just being overly sweet and positive, or what's the deal here?
Okay, at least for me, since I was the one who apparently prompted Roddy to be like, this is too positive for me. I felt happy that I realized I still really love and enjoy talking about StarCraft and hanging out with all you wonderful folks and everything. I will say, actually, the thing that I did miss the most was like, I actually really, really am looking forward to the first event that has players at it too, because I miss hanging out with a bunch of the players and like the player pit and stuff, and hearing all the memes and stuff that are going on and everything else like that. So like, could it be improved? Yes, but that was still like a highlight for me, because also I know we used to travel a lot, but like I haven't traveled at all. That was a highlight for me. Sweden was beautiful.
Waddy?
Well, maybe last year just really sucked, No, I mean, like, I guess overall, like, to me, those are the things that stand out the most, but I think in general, like, my year was very much so like last year. Like, I really did just cast a lot of StarCraft, and obviously, like, I mean, the house and everything, I guess, if I want to talk about achievement, I think being able to get the house and move in and get that all done while continuing to stream, because I didn't really take a lot of time off per se. And that's kind of been like a big life change as well, obviously, living with someone else, and just, I'm not as much of a DGen anymore. Sometimes I wake up at 7 a.m. to do work instead of staying up till 4 a.m. So, I guess just in general, my life's taken a better turn. I'm living less DGen-like and just still casting StarCraft. And yeah, I guess that's kind of been probably the biggest personal achievement that I've had this year. It's been good to just be able to do all that and, yeah, just keep it all going and just continue off the success of 2020 for me, because 2020 was my best year ever. So being able to kind of bring that into 2021 was really nice as well.
All right. I mean, it just turns out that you can keep StarCraft 2 commentators very happy. You lock them up for 11 months, then you fly them out to the studio. They can't interact with anyone. The city is closed off, but everyone's just having the time of their life.
Wait, Kev, what's your highlight then? Because you're making us sound like we have very low standards on this.
I actually don't know what my highlight was. I mean, the studio events were fun, but to like maybe the stay-at-home story cup then to some degree, because at least it had some players and it had a couple of live spectators. But I don't know. I'll be real. I don't have a standout highlight for this year. It's not like I don't think it was all bad. I think we've seen a lot of great StarCraft. I obviously always have fun working with you guys, and I think I'm very blessed even just to do online casting because we get paid pretty well, and it all kind of goes. So I think my highlight was that I have nothing to complain about compared to other people that have different lives and cannot even go to work because of COVID or cannot even run their business because they are forced to stay down or shut down. I guess that's my highlight, but to really say that it was like the best year ever, I mean, I almost forgot how it used to be, but we used to have really fun lives, guys. Whereas like we stream a little bit, we go hard, and we travel to an event, we meet up with everyone, you meet up with the fans, you have some I don't know, social times. Maybe you go to a bar or a club.
Yeah, open bar.
Yeah. Like a nice restaurant. Like if I think of a nice restaurant right now, I just hope Subway can open again in 2 weeks. That's kind of the state that I'm in. No. But yeah, I think that's kind of fair. Anyway, let's go over some of the finer things that happened in the World of StarCraft 2 then. This year, we obviously had a crap ton of events, and Wadi already said at one point they do kind of start all feeling the same, but they definitely weren't all the same. And some tournaments did do their best to make it feel a bit different or focus on different elements. So let's just start off with, I guess, our favorite tournament of the year, gameplay-wise, though. So which tournament, if you sat down for 3, 4, 5 days, or 3 weeks, if it's a DreamHack, which tournament do you think provided the best games overall? We'll start off with Fear Dragon.
Okay, so I saw this question, or I saw that we were gonna talk about this, and I looked back at all the Wikipedia events, and I'm like, what were all the premier events this year and stuff? And I will preface what I'm gonna say with, man, I don't really remember which games happened in which events. They all started to blend together a little bit because I felt like we had so many broadcast days for every event that it was just like back to back at some points, a lot or most of the time. I looked back and I do remember DreamHack Summer. I'm biased, obviously, but North America DreamHack Summer I really enjoyed a lot. Same with Europe as well for summer, because that was after Clem had come in from the previous year with doing really well, and it's like, oh, is it going to do well again? Neeb returned to form, all that stuff. So I remember enjoying that a lot, but honestly, a lot of the events it was hard for me to keep track of which event was happening at which games.
All right, so DreamHack Summer. Nate, is there any event that really stood out for you when it came to the quality of the games?
I mean, the obvious easy answer, because I do feel a bit similarly to Ravi, especially with our online seasons. Like we had a lot of long days. I think probably as far as entertainment wise from some of the gameplay, I don't know that quality is necessarily the word I can use. But there was at least a little period I remember where we had our Protoss guys just trying to build a giant, like they were doing the shield battery thing that we've all memed about, but I remember distinctly Neeb just had this game where he's like, I'm just gonna build shield batteries all the way to your base. And did it on Blackburn, and it was the most ridiculous shit I've seen. I'm just like, this, on one hand, there's been a lot of this. On the other hand, it's now gone pushed so far that it kind of reached the point of hilarity, and that I mean, it was the first thing I thought about when you asked that question. So I think that's what I'm going with.
All right,
I need to find that.
Neeb in some of the NA tournaments. We'll keep it at that. Statfast, what was the standout tournament for you when it came to the quality of the games?
This one's actually a pretty easy one for me. I'm a little bit biased because it holds a bit of a special place in my heart. But King of Battles 2, that featured probably one of the best series we've ever seen between Cyril and Maru, and that was the grand finals. But even going back, the group stages, almost every single match in there was unreal. We got to see Classic show up a little bit. Even though he got knocked out in group stages, he still had a good showing. We had a bunch of players who basically, returned. Even the qualifiers were quite good. The qualifiers were pretty grueling. And we had some really big names not even make it through, like Trap. I think he tried to qualify 4 times, and he didn't make it through. But it was a really, really amazing tournament, a really cool tournament with many unforgettable games, and it kind of sucks that it was amidst so many other great tournaments because it kind of got swept under the rug a little bit, I think. Also, the fact that it was like 7 a.m. start. No, that's not true. Yeah, no, 7 a.m. start time EST, which was 4 a.m. PST, which is funny because I traveled from EST to PST to cast it. So I just ruined my sleep schedule real bad for that. And then, yeah, even Central European time wasn't the greatest time. I think that's what, 1 p.m.? 1 p.m. CET? Yeah. Not bad, but not amazing.
I mean,
But
Clem
the
is not
game-
awake yet, but most people are.
Yeah, exactly. The game quality was just unbelievable. Like it was really cool to see Maru, who had won the first one off of all TVT in the bracket stage, then win the whole thing off of all TVZ in the bracket stage. So I'm excited for King of Battles 3 when he just beats every Protoss to a bloody pulp.
All right, so King of Battles for Steadfast. Waddy, what was the standout tournament for you?
SSRG. Nothing even came close. Straight from every single series was just brilliant. I don't think we had a bad series all weekend long. It definitely helped it came a week after a very disappointing season finals, which I think if you asked someone to name one series in that tournament, they'd be like, there was 3 season finals this year because it was very forgettable. It was not pretty. But SSRG the week after was just like, it's just great. Like the entire tournament was great. I think we had a good vibe. We had a good amount of games versus talking, and I didn't have to cast a whole day of best of fives on my own. What was a plus? So yeah, it was. I think SSRG easily.
Hey, time against Dark on Romanticide of the season finals. Pretty good, Waddy.
Is that the only game we can pick out? I think it might
Yeah,
be.
probably, but it was pretty good. No, that season final sucked. Yeah, I do like that answer as well, and that was also one of my go-tos. I think the last stay-at-home Story Cup provided some sick games, but I kind of feel that all the pros yesterday, they were in unanimous agreement, and I kind of agree with them too, that Katowice this year was really sick, and I'm surprised that none of you guys said it, because Nate, you casted Katowice as well, Fear Dragon casted, Waddy casted.
It's
I
like
think it's
another year
recency
though,
bias.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It does feel like a lifetime ago, and I think that's how I like that the hard part with things kind of blending together because it was still online. It was still online for us. Like things didn't shake up big until later on. At least for me anyway. I don't have a good excuse. I guess is what I'm really saying.
I don't remember Katowice.
Wasn't that one of the worst finals ever though?
No, what?
No.
Katowice 2020?
No,
Yeah, I'm talking
2021.
about
20. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at the one with Rogue and Zest.
What year is it, Dave?
I don't know.
Wake me up, Pinshine.
I mean, the finals of Katowice was not what made it special, but every single
Maru.
series that Rainer played up to the finals was
Yes.
amazing. The games against Maru, I personally thought those were more exciting than Maru against Seraph King of Battles, but that one was very good too. But I thought Rainer Maru was literally as good as StarCraft II can ever be. Rainer against Dark, I think, was crazy. Rainer against Stats, it was as well, where he was also in some trouble. Yeah, that one really stood out for me.
I think just to me, Katowice this year is a lifetime ago because I wasn't even in my house then, and to me it just feels like so long ago. It's like, yeah, that was this year, and it had really good storylines and probably was the best, but like Nate says, a bit of recency bias and everything. I think it's just it's like 10 months down the line now, so it's like a little crazy.
That event is fun to think about though, because it was kind of interesting how elaborate, right? Everything got set up because of the pandemic, right? We had all these changes that ended up getting made to sort things out. I don't know if anybody can hear me because our thing just went
Yeah,
blank.
I can hear you.
We can hear you. Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably one of the other things that made that one interesting. Now that I think back on it, because we had a very technical setup for that, and I think was see, this is where I get confused because of time. But was Caleris? He was in space, right?
Yes.
That's the
Yes,
event. He was in
he
space.
was.
I'm not crazy.
It was
Uh-huh.
in
That feels
person.
like 5 years ago. That's my problem.
No, that's fine. But it definitely was this year. It is kind of funny that we have our quote unquote biggest tournament of the year so early in the year, right? Because normally it would just make BlizzCon always kind of felt as a true end of the year grand finale, November, and then we can all chill a little bit over the holidays. And that kind of all builds up too much. But then in May we just start all over again and we do all these tournaments. It is kind of a funny timeline that we use.
It's really weird because I feel like it feels like also we have Last Chance at the very start of January as well, and then it's really dead for a month and a half, and just I don't know, and nothing happens. Whereas in in BlizzCon days, it felt like there was at least some. I know it probably was somewhat similar, but it felt like it was a bit more close together. Maybe that's just because we have like maybe Last Chance doesn't feel as epic or as big. It feels like it's sort of like just flung on the end of the year. It's like, oh hey, have an extra event for some reason, right?
Yeah.
But,
I
like, if we
mean, if
came
there
off of like
wasn't
DreamHack and
Sorry,
then
go ahead.
had, I was just gonna say if we came off of like DreamHack and then we went into like the end of year finals, like a season finals, then end of year finals, I feel like that would like string together way better anyway. But instead, like Last Chance feels like just such an oddity in general. So
Yeah, but I think the plan all along with Last Chance was obviously for it not to be just another weird online tournament in January. Like we had this cool tournament schedule where we would all travel a little bit, have offline events, and then that would just be the last cool, epic, basically all-star event because it truly is like a top 16. It's not wherever you're from, and if you're the best in your region, you go. Like, no, you really have to battle your way through the toughest qualifiers to get there. So if that would normally happen offline, all 16 best players in the world, it'd be really cool. It just, I think because of COVID, it kind of feels weird. It's like, hi, here's a
Yeah,
big
I
tournament in
I thought
January
they
with decent.
made I thought they made Last Chance though to fit in with the new online schedule. Like originally, Last Chance wasn't a thing. Is that
No,
not
I
a
think
thing?
there was
was?
an all-star. Basically, if you think of GSL versus the world, how we used to have that, I think what the money that's being used for Last Chance, I think that was originally supposed to be sort of a GSL versus the world. Not quite, obviously, because you can use the same branding, but I think that was the plan along it. But at least it's a stacked tournament, guys. Like,
yeah, no,
I'm not disagreeing.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I thought that some of that money was coming from because obviously we didn't know that things were going to end up like we have. They didn't end up having BlizzCon for a couple of years now, but I thought that they did say they wanted to do something there, so I figured
Mhm.
that the money probably went into Last Chance.
Yeah, that is correct as well. All right, but I think overall some decent answers. Let's just talk about the production value then, since you guys said that everything did kind of start feeling the same at one point. But Fair Dragon, which tournament do you think did the best job production-wise?
Are we not including the events that all of the casters are offline at? Because that's kind of cheating.
No, you
Is it
can
though?
include whatever you want. It can be a Korean event, it can be a fun event, it can be an online event. You just
Okay.
say what you thought was the most fun to watch when it came to the production value.
I think production wise, I mean, it feels almost like cheating. It just be like GSL because they have a lot more available. Like they have like a full studio. They had an audience for like a lot of their shows. They had like the players there. They could do a lot more and stuff. I think if you don't include like GSL, which I feel like is its own ball game entirely,
Mhm.
I do think like the studio broadcasts and DreamHack are probably up there. I think as much as as much as I know, some of the commentators did not enjoy the goats. I really, and I did not. I will say, I was not big on the goat prediction competition, but when they started throwing live goats up there to predict the matches, I was like, this is actually just peak memery. I'm a huge fan of that. I
How did
loved
you
that.
describe the goats? I just want you to say it one more time for me. You used an adjective before you said the word goats, didn't you?
Peak memery?
I think you said they were live goats.
Oh yeah, the
like
live
that.
goats.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
live goats.
They,
Okay.
Sure.
they were not
They were
not as live as you want
pre-recorded
them to be.
goats.
Look, the one in the back
I-
may have been a beta goat, but it was alive, okay?
I won't pull the curtain back. I'll let you enjoy that, Robbie. I love you.
No, there was a pre-recorded. Okay, when our producer Kasha described this like whole idea and stuff, what she made it sound like was that she was going to get a live feed of goats, like an active live feed at the moment, and there was going to be someone ready there with two bowls, and I was so eagerly watching the entire time. I'm like, what if the goats aren't hungry? What if the goats don't go for either bowl? How long do we wait? Like, I was waiting every time for that, but now that I know it's pre-recorded, oh god, it's ruined.
It goes
that's-
deeper than that, but I'll spare you. I'll spare you. It was fun. It was that was yeah. Oh,
Marty, I
I
know that you were
think-
pissed off about leading the GOAT contest all the way to the final play day, so I'm expecting a different answer from you when it comes to production value of StarCraft 2 tournaments this year.
As it not just stay-at-home story cup, they actually had like content, downtime stuff. Like
mm.
I don't think anyone else even came close to matching what Home Story Cup did for the last one. you had players there, you had downtime content, you did the fun stuff Home Story Cup has. It was just completely different to anything else. Like, DreamHack did well with some videos. I actually liked a lot of the DreamHack videos we had for season finals, but it's just not the same as having people there, and it had a way better like fun feel. So yeah, I actually think stay at Home Story Cup. Because this time I don't think we can say Katowice because I'm not sure about us being in space, but I don't want to do that one again.
You tell me you didn't like it when I was staring at my wall, pretending I was staring at your face.
I love
Hey, Roddy,
that.
how are you doing today? Like, there's like I actually just printed out a photo of your face on the wall to make it like a little bit better. It was, yeah, definitely a weird. Yeah, we'd already been stuck in our rooms for such a long time, and now it's like you can talk to your wall, Woody. I'm like, nice, what an upgrade.
I think the best part about the space like wall situation was just that we would be like talking to each other and stuff, but randomly one of our cameras would freak out. We get really wide for like a split second and come back. I'm like, oh no, the illusion.
Yeah, no, it was really funny when you could like get closer to your camera because then you would get really big and you would suddenly become like this little pumped up version of yourself. I don't know. Like the first day, I hated Katowice. I was like, why are we doing this? This is the biggest tournament of the year. You just want everything to be fine because we were working with some different software as well. We weren't in the games. So I was like, I hate this. But after the first day, they fixed pretty much all of the big issues we had. And then from the second day on, it actually became a lot smoother. And I don't think it looked great. But what I did love about it is that it looked different, though. Because we whine about this. Everything feels the same. Well, us being in space staring at walls with green screens in our room didn't quite feel the same to me, though. I personally thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, I did like as well that they put that effort in for like they sent out the headsets, even though some of us have good microphones, and they're like, we kind of want it to have that feeling, and I agree with you there. As silly as it was, I enjoyed it because it was so different than everything that we'd been doing with the online.
Fast, any final thoughts on production value?
I mean, not gonna do the whole pull back the curtain thing. I will say the videos we made for TSL 8, those were peak. Those were S tier. The actual TSL 8 production, we won't talk about that for now. But the
oh no,
the videos themselves were like very, very funny and very enjoyable.
I mean, this is the end of the year. We cannot just give teasers to the people and then not actually elaborate. Because I wasn't there for the first weekend. The first weekend of TSL, I was supposed to work one day, but I was in Sweden doing Warcraft things. And I come back and I just saw you guys writing, and apparently a lot of things went wrong. But like the second and third weekend that I was on, and even the fourth, if there was a fourth weekend, I had no issues. It was pretty smooth from my side.
Well, they did fire the person who was doing it. Like,
Okay.
What?
and we got they didn't get fired, but like we didn't see them again, right? He left and was like, someone else came and was like, hey, yeah, I'm your producer now, and it definitely improved.
And also,
I mean,
Look at me.
credit to Oli Moly, who basically sat them down and was like,
yeah,
hey, look, like before the next weekend starts, like we're gonna go over all of this again and make sure, because like to give you guys some glimpses, which I think maybe you guys may have noticed or something, the first weekend and stuff, we weren't in the games a lot of the time, or when we were in the games, our voices would be like 5 seconds ahead of the feed, so you'd hear us play-by-playing things that weren't showing up for another 5 seconds. And then when we weren't in the games, we had like the opposite issue, basically. So like there was like other random stuff. So like full credit to Oli Moly, who was like, no, we're like making sure this is all set for next weekend, because we all know that just, Roddy has such high standards. He just he'll just quit on the spot.
Definitely wasn't me as we. Yeah, go ahead.
To add to that, I think just in terms of how serious they took it, they actually paid us for an extra rehearsal day to come back and like do it again. Now, I'm not being funny. Rehearsal day is like an hour long, and I definitely don't think we should have got paid for it. But then they paid us for a second one, so like they took it pretty serious. And I showed up. Steadfast and ZG got put on the screen. They went through the whole show. I listened. I was like, "Great job, guys! Yeah, you sound way better this week." And they're like, "Cool." And I had to double check. I was like, "Do I get paid for this?" And they were like, "Yeah." I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. But
What
no,
is
it
like
was
72 extra booster packs, baby? Let's go.
you know it.
No, but Steadfast, I like that you mentioned TSL though, because TSL production does make me happy as a viewer. Like when I'm not casting and I'm just watching the games, I like the colors, I like the sounds, I like that they do try to not just be like, hey guys, open, end game. And I actually thought TSL 8 was a lot better than TSL 7 when it came to pacing and the amount of people that were working as well, because I had this one day in TSL 7 where I had 4 best of 7s with Zombie Grub, all TVZ. And I am
Yeah.
not one to complain ever, but that's when I actually did write a message like, we can't be doing this, man. Like, a GSL day is 1 best of 7, and they have 2 commentators for that. I have to do 4 best of 7s, all online, and the pre-show, and the post-show, and the interviews with the players. Like, that's just becoming too much. And I thought TSL 8 was actually enjoyable to watch and very enjoyable to cast too.
Yeah, and
The-
plus one to what David actually said about the downtime content and stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
was like a little bit uncertain. I'm like, oh, we're gonna do the not draw something, but what was that like Pictionary thing? I can't remember what it's called.
Arctic Phone.
Gartic Phone. Yeah,
Gartic Phone,
we
yeah.
did Gartic Phone. I was like, is this gonna go well? I'm like, actually, I loved all of those pieces, even
Oh,
when
yeah.
they maybe included some of the segments that I think we had to. There were some segments, guys, that got a little too racy. We had to straight up delete. Holy moly was just like, I can't use this, guys.
We-
Like, what are you doing?
We recorded like 10 rounds. They used about 2 of them. It was
Yeah.
it was a good use of time.
All right. Well, and then I think we can move on. I think we mentioned a couple of the good ones. I guess we can make it a little more generic, and I have the feeling that literally absolutely no one here is going to say PvZ. But what was our favorite matchup to watch throughout the year? Why don't you start, Steadfast?
Hmm. Honestly, PvP had some really cool revolutions throughout the year. Maybe not now, but I think PvP was like with max packs coming out and basically reinventing the matchup for the first like 8 months of the year. I think it was probably my favorite matchup. Until it was the only matchup I got to see, and then it became a little less enjoyable. But overall, it was really cool to watch PvP evolve over the course of the entire year.
Nate?
My answer is going to be TVZ because I'm going to play. I'm going to play into all of the things because I probably most enjoyed. It happened across a couple of different tournaments, but Maru did some really weird TVZ late game this year and against some of the top Korean guys and Rainer, and it made it more impressive for me when Rainer was able to take him down when he did. But like he was like, oh, I'm gonna do nothing. I'm gonna spread out, eat the map as bio, not even mech, and just use like an insane number of ghosts and never let any of them die. And it was one of the first times where I was watching that mid late game and feeling like, okay, this is something that we don't see the other players try to do. I'm not sure that anybody can do it except for him. It made those games for me a lot more interesting to watch because I'm like, oh, we can still see in 2021 there's things that people are doing in StarCraft that we haven't seen that weren't even pushed by a patch. But I'll also give you a kudos there on the PvP because there were some real funky ones, especially in the European group stages of DreamHack this year. I shout out to Askillis and Hellraiser.
I was gonna say Hellraiser, actually. Yeah, got some funny
Waddy?
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, TVZ is just always the best matchup in my eyes, apart from when it goes into a mech phase. I liked it the first half of the year a bit more. I think it was a lot more fun on the old map pool. I know that's maybe a bit more Terran biased, but I feel like the current map pool gets a little bit to the point of where it's like, if a Terran falls behind, it feels kind of hard to get back on a couple of the maps. I probably felt the other way around before, but I just always felt it was a bit more fun on the last maps. But TVZ, I think there's just so many cool situations from people who just sit back and play long and go into Ghost to Clem, who's just everywhere and doesn't stop. And, it's had so many different styles. We've seen Ling Bane Muta, Ling Bane Hydra, Rush to Lurkers, right? We've just had so many different styles. And, well, the Terran side is still pretty similar. There's also just like a massive different openings. I think TVZ is, for me, just always been my favorite matchup, and this year was no different.
Revi?
Okay, I promise I'm not memeing, okay? I'm like being serious.
Oh,
But
PVZ.
Okay, so
PVZ.
PVZ, but like, okay, you know how like if you're in a desert and you haven't had water for like 6 days, as we've always, we've all experienced, like then you see
That's what it's
water and
like
you're like,
casting a PVZ.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
like
feels
whenever
like
I
you're in
saw
a desert.
PVZ, it was like every single time it was like basically being in that desert and then seeing like they open Twilight. Oh my god! And like the game doesn't end with like a 7-gated Adept all in or something. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I love you, Showtime, or I love you, Estrella. Like that. Those are actually the most enjoyable moments to me. If I look back at like the games, I'm like, yeah, I did enjoy the most when I was just like a PVZ and it didn't devolve into like the super hyper turtle late game stuff, and it was like actually exciting. It was more refreshing. Outside of that, I would actually agree with I think it was Steadfast with PvP though. PvP is the other highlight one for me because God, I hate playing it, but man, I really love watching PvP.
All right, let's move on and not talk about our favorite matchup being PVZ. What was the most wholesome moment of 2021 in StarCraft 2? Steadfast, why don't you start again? Once more.
Well, this one's. I feel like this one's almost a cop out. But the signature series coming back and seeing the moment between Clem and his dad, and they're like looking at a replay, and Clem says something, and his dad just puts his hand on his shoulder, and it was just like it was such a wholesome family moment. I was like, that's the stuff right there. That's a supportive dad right there, watching his son and encouraging him to follow his dreams and make hundreds of thousands of dollars playing a video game at under 18.
Okay. Surprising answer, but I don't hate it. The signature series of Clan was good. Since we are having an end of the year episode, and I think we should be free to say what we want, I'm going to derail this conversation a bit. We'll go back to the most wholesome moment. But I just want to say I was very disappointed in the Raynor signature series. I think it is so easy to make a great video about Raynor, because Raynor is just a great, happy, arrogant, but still humble, funny little prick that just works hard but has a great energy around him. He's always smiling. He's great at making people smile. And I looked at that video and I was like, this doesn't really represent Raynor to me at all. Like, I didn't really get it, and I was kind of disappointed about it. And I think you felt the same, Marty.
Yeah, I ranted about this for like 20 minutes on my stream, and I had some
Okay.
people in chat tell me I didn't get it, but like I've kind of already laid my piece with it. I mean, my best summary is at the time of watching it, I actually turned to Ben because we watched that DreamHack, right?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I'm like, wait, where is he? I feel like I just didn't pay attention for a moment. He's like, oh no, I don't know either. And I was like, oh. And then I watched it again. I still don't understand what they're doing or why they're suddenly in a random room, and it has no story. Like when I look at other signature series, I'm like, other signature series, I really feel like captures like a life of someone and really gives you an idea of who they are, and, like a big part of their story. And I think Clem's did that to some extent, right?
Yeah.
Reynolds was like, yeah, I won a tournament and then I didn't win Katowice. Oh, I didn't win BlizzCon. And then it just ends. And it's like, oh, but what, like, tell me more about you. And he's like, oh, yeah, sometimes it was tough. And then it was like, that's like the one like heartfelt moment. But like, where's like the moment where he wins Katowice, where he's the world champion? In this room, I'm just like, this is like, yeah, this is where we write our names on the walls. I'm like, okay, who's wall? Like, I just honestly, it was just so. It had no story to it. They honestly did it. It was just like they tried to go for all the sad moments and like string a bunch of sad words together and like
Yeah.
put a bit of hope in. And it was like, and then at the end, he's just like, and I'm off to England for 6 months. I'm like, well, that's not timeless. Like when you look at all the other ones, they're timeless. They capture someone, they tell their life, and Reynolds is like it's just not like that at all. So yeah, I hated that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Not
Yeah.
the most wholesome moment. Well, I think a Raynor signature series could have actually been beautiful. I actually think they could have done it in so many different ways, and then like at least have the story of him winning Katowice. They didn't mention it once. They only talked about the one he didn't win.
Yeah.
Or BlizzCon he didn't win. It's like we're looking at the world champ, and not a single word is being said about him being the world champ. It was crazy to me. Anyway, Fear Dragon,
Yeah.
what do you think was the most wholesome moment of the year, or a rant about the Raynor video?
Okay,
Disagree with us.
little rant about the Raynor video is that like I think it was very pretty, and like the way I'd put it is that you know, like how you hear about like the meme about, oh, if you just play like the right music and have the right like cinematic shots or like a B-roll footage over something, like anything will make you feel sad or whatever, right? That's kind of how I felt watching the Signature Series, where I'm like, I'm supposed to feel emotionally attached right now. I can tell because the cinematography and stuff is great and like the music is playing, but like there's not actually the stuff here, even though I know that there is that stuff under like the surface. So I was pretty frustrated by that. I actually like Clem's. I think I enjoyed a bit more, but even that, I kind of feel like I don't know. It didn't quite hit the mark for me. Like the way I don't know. Like I go back, I still to this day can go rewatch SOSs and stuff, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
literally, like I'm like holding back some tears as like his mom describes how he bought him like the first car and like how or bought her first car and all this other stuff and like how he's the pride of like the city and everything. Like man, that stuff like actually hits hard, but I feel like they didn't like, and maybe it's partially because of COVID, but I feel like they didn't talk to enough people. Like I felt like the selection of people like for each one of those was like, let's grab like one or two family members and then like maybe one other person or something,
Yeah.
and it'd be like a random friend. Whereas I feel like the old Signature Series, they get like a lot of people weighing in and kind of give you more of like, here's how like a lot of people look at this person. And the other thing was, it felt like a lot of this was like, hey, this is like, yeah, this person grew up here, and like this is like maybe one of their relationships or something. Whereas I don't, I feel like a lot of the old ones were kind of more like about that person and an interesting facet of their life. This was just like, if you were writing a biography for like a high school essay about someone, this is like the kind of stuff that I read. I'm like, yeah, they were born in this city, and like, yeah, they like would often go to such and such place, and yeah, it was great. Anyway, sorry, I don't want to rag too much on it because I do
I
think
think
like I can see a lot of effort was put in. It's just like some of it I'm sure was like COVID made it harder and stuff, but it was a little I was a little disappointed too.
Yeah. Well, one last thing that I can say about it is that Rainer did tell me that they filmed him for an entire day in Florence. I think he went to, or yeah, one of these other cities, but I think it was Florence. And they had a bunch of cool shots, and they also interviewed his sister and his little brother, Baby Marine. And it's like, where is that? Did they lose the tape or something? Because like I can't imagine you make a signature series and you don't include the little brother of the guy that is the world champion. That's also a good StarCraft 2 player. I don't know. That's crazy to me. The one of Clem, I definitely had peace with because I thought it was kind of okay. Like, not the best ever, but definitely fun. But the one of Rainer, I just felt like it didn't do Rainer justice. Like, Rainer is such a fun, happy, lively character. It's such a great story. And I was like, what is this? A room? A picture on the wall? Write a name on the wall? Like, I'm not getting it. And then he's off to London? It's like, why? give us the actual story. Anyway, let's go back to the original question. And that was the most wholesome moment. Do you have any wholesome moments this year? Nathanias or Fear Dragon? Any of you guys could take it.
Ooh, I was trying to think about this. Okay, this is gonna be like a very off one, but okay. I will say this like as someone who's like a fan of North America. This is not gonna go the direction you're thinking. But like as someone who's a fan of North America, I know that like when you're a fan or like known as the fan of something, that you can get a lot of shit or hate every time like that thing that you're like a fan of does poorly. Like anytime North Americans like do poorly, like you get a lot of shit talk from people, or people like to immediately like tag and be like, ha ha ha, see how poorly they did or something. Gemini is that for Trap. And the beginning of this year when Trap was just on a ridiculous like winning spree and stuff, I actually it was like so wholesome watching Gemini basically get to like really live in that moment of like Trap is one of like the inarguably he was like the very beginning of the year, he was just like dominating. He was just getting first place and like stuff back to back, and he was doing really well. So I felt like it was really wholesome watching him, and he like released like a highlight video and all this other stuff. That really made me happy. I felt it just feels good to watch someone who loves something so much like really get to like embrace it and live in that moment. So that was my wholesome moment of the year.
I like that you said something instead of someone. Like Trap is not a person, but an idea that Gemini has.
He is though. Like
yeah.
What Gemini worships about Trap is no longer a human being. Okay.
Nate?
Yeah, he looks up to an image of him, doesn't he? You know what was really wholesome for me was that moment where everybody was terrified. You know, there was a moment of fear. There was a moment of concern. And then at our darkest hour, High Ground Goat finally got to come down and eat something. And you know, I felt like I had this weight on my shoulders and it just melted off. The stress was gone and all was right in the world.
All right. I didn't talk about this yesterday, but I actually thought one of the more wholesome moments this year, Wadi, was when we ran the first or like the
Yes,
second.
this was
but I
my
think-
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't even
I
ask
already
you.
know.
Go ahead. What was your most favorite wholesome moment of the year, Wadi?
The Roddy Wardy Cup, man. Like, you know, ESL Open Cups. Like, one guy from you know, some country we've never heard of can't log into the Battle.net servers, so we just can't run the ESL Open Cup today, guys. And then we just put on. I think they were both like fantastic and very wholesome. Like, I feel like the second time where we kind of knew it a little bit in advance, and like I was just like, all right, guys, we're gonna do this again tonight. And then like before we started, we already had like an $800 prize pool, and we started at like what $200 or something. It's like it's just crazy, like how much we can like do as a community. It's like a Monday cup, right? Like a Monday night cup. It's not like this the big weekend thing that people watch and stuff. And I know we've kind of made it like that, like it is now a big thing, but it's amazing that people get behind something and like will support it. And it's like we cannot miss a week, right? Like they will support it so much so. And I think one of the ones that was really cool for me was where when Vanya realized how much money was on the line and he was in the semifinals of number 2, and it
Yeah.
was like, and he was just like, "What? Question mark? Question mark?" And he made a little tweet, and maybe his tweet is like the most wholesome part because he's like, "It's amazing what you guys do for the scene, and it's not really us, right? It's what like everyone else does to put the money in and make that happen." Yeah, I think definitely.
Yep. I think especially the one where it was like super on the fly. It's like, we're
the
suddenly not
sec-
going to have a cup. Yeah, the
Yeah.
second one. And it's like, you want to do something? It's like, all right, let's do it. It's like, what? You got $100? Like, I'll do 100. You do 100. Let's just have a tournament. And then suddenly it became like our tournament was like almost as big as the entire stay-at-home story cup, mate. And we played it out in 3 hours.
I know all these guys that like didn't sign up. They're like, "Oh, a Roddy Woody $200 cup? No, thank you." It's like you guys missed out. Of course, I mean, you know, Clem and Max Packs were in there still, but yeah, they were both
Eh.
great. The prize pools were crazy.
Yeah, and you even had to like stop at one point, right? Where you just said like, all right, we'll take some of that money and you use it for something else. Because
I
it
ran a
was-
whole extra event, man. Like I ran like a $1,500 cup 2 weeks later. Like it was ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
actually insane. I actually just had the same thing. People like started donating, or one guy in particular donated for a tournament this last week, and I was like, "Oh, dude!" Like, and someone else started donating. I was like, "Please, no!" Like the players are already playing. They're already like getting so much for the time they're playing. Like, trust me, we should do another tournament. It's not just me trying to get content. It's just like it felt silly how much like it was getting to. Yeah, these things were really wild.
Yep.
See, that's a trap. That's an infinite money hack where you just like you say a next tournament, and then people are like, "Oh, another tournament? Okay, well, I'll donate to that. Let me get the checkbook," and it just gets out of hand.
Yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. I think it was one of my favorite moments of the year for sure. Let's talk about something then that I may need Cobra for, because this was kind of planned in the middle. And maybe it's because I'm an absolute boomer. I see Fear Dragon already has some suggestions, but Cobra thought it would be very good to talk about the most KEKW moment of the year. Now, Nate, you're good with the memes. What the fuck is a KEKW moment? Because I don't know, mate.
I mean, it's something ridiculous. It's something funny, right? But what exactly is this? Is this when you blow? I feel like if I make a joke about blowing up your own banelings, we go down the wrong direction here. But I'm not 100%. Ravi, you seem to have some idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay, I just look at KEKW, and here's the thing. I know there's like better Twitch TV emotes and stuff that use like KEKW, and I have all of those turned off. Those all annoy the hell out of me. So every time I see KEKW, I just replace it with a L, like lol. That's what it is in my mind. So.
Oh, it's that guy, the Spanish laughing guy. He's KEKW. Okay.
But wait, you
All
really
right.
didn't know what KEKW was?
No.
don't
Hey,
know.
No, it's the emote. It's based off the emote.
Yeah,
This
it's the
is something funny.
emote. Yeah,
I have no
The
idea.
Italian guy, right? Where he's going. Where he's
Yeah,
just
like
laughing really
when he's
hard.
laughing. Yeah, I do know the videos where they changed the subtitles as well, you know, and it's like, and this is where they said it was balanced. Yeah. Okay. All right, so Fear Dragon, you have KEKW clip
Okay.
suggestions. Go
I
ahead.
was watching your a little bit of like because it happened really early for me, so I like woke up and I saw the Pylon show was on with the players, and I saw you were having so much trouble finding the clip of your own channel where you were watching
No.
Puppetry Zelda's replay.
That's not totally true. I had that clip already, but this
Okay.
clip is really short. In my mind, that was a great clip of me just looking at this fight while I was actually in the game and my original reaction. But I went back into the full VOD and there is no such thing because I couldn't really believe what was happening. And it actually, like, there is no
Yeah.
clip because it goes on for minutes. But I have seen that clip, but go ahead, talk about the clip. I could find that one.
So Puppetry Zelda is the channel that I spent the most time watching this year, according to Twitch, by a decent margin. And he had a match that he was playing in the ESL Open versus Max Pax, which really he should be an underdog in. But somehow he got some Widowmine drops in. He defended against like minor little harassment and stuff. Puppetry Zelda was up like a solid amount of supply versus Max Pax. He was like doubling an army supply, like 40 versus 80 or something. And then this magnificent moment happens, which it was so terrible. It was so bad. I had to send it to Roddy to like watch. I needed to share this. So, Cobra, I don't know if we can pull up the clip.
I think it's working. I think everything is working today. Cobra was already showing us some beautiful footage of the signature series and also some of the Liquipedia. So if we can play the clip, that'd be awesome. If not, we can obviously do it a bit later. What's the other one? What's the other KEKW of Puppetry?
Oh, the other one. This is just another great small clip. It's literally just it's just like a 5 or 6 second clip where it happened recently, where I had it in my clips where I'm like, Sal sees single infester. And he's like, all right, I'm going to EMP it. And he throws out like 8 EMPs and misses every single one and then gets bungled with his entire army. It's just like the most... God, Sal's so bad at StarCraft. It's so good.
Ah, he's pretty... Come on, that's mean.
He puts the team on his back.
Yeah, that's not... He's
I'm
getting there.
Sal. I'm
carrying.
to talk
He's
Sal
carrying.
all I want, okay?
Oh my god.
In the grand scheme of things, Sal is very good at StarCraft, okay? Compared to most people out there, he's very good.
And he provides
Absolutely.
he provides a safe haven for me to drop off my degeneracy. Like as a caster, you're like, yeah, you got to be like pretty wholesome and good. I go to Sal's stream and I'm just like the worst human being alive. Like it's not even like, like cancelable stuff. It's just like really just being like a bit of a Bobby dipshit, like just a real
Oh,
idiot.
Here we go. All right.
Oh boy.
I just took a look at it. It's beautiful.
I think it's muted right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it's
never mind.
working.
Okay.
That's so fitting.
I think it's very fitting for the entire year.
That's so fitting.
Just
Boy,
constantly,
Sal, all right.
just constantly missing shots taken. Oh, I love Sal, but
Sal
God,
is the best of us.
There's something about his stream that just makes you want to be like the worst human possible.
Yep.
I have to admit, guys, I don't have that at all. Like, I bully him a little bit about the TVTs, and okay, this one I had to bully him a little bit over. Because you guys may not be able to see everything, but it's 35 army supply for Max Pax against 83 for Cell. And there are around, I think, 87 ways to win this game. And there is one to lose it. And the funniest thing is that even at the end, when you have the 3 Widow mines, it's like those mines, they could have killed all 15 probes, the Colossus. Instead, somehow, they only killed 3 probes. It's like 3 mines shooting at nothing, or basically everything, and they get absolute minimum. Yeah, this clip, this is Cell's almost moment to greatness. I still don't really know what a KEKW is, but I would nominate this as KEKW moment of the year. I don't think in the history of this video game have I seen a Terran player with 83 army supply fuck up an attack harder than this. 83. This army... I don't think that's the thing with this clip. That's why I didn't like the clip. But I did link the exact VOD as well. So, I mean, that's a lot of effort. But yeah, that's the kind of annoying part about this. Is why I didn't show this clip yesterday, Fear Dragon. Now you linked it, but it doesn't actually show the fight. But imagine everything going wrong. Trying to kill a unit near an overcharged battery, not quite getting it. Overcharged zealots getting healed for, I don't know, 7,000 HP. Cell trying to kill a Colossus, so close yet so far. It was a painful moment. Statfest, you watch all the time, 24/7. You don't do anything else. Tell me, what are the KEKW moments for you?
The worst part of this is I don't really have like an actual couple of clips. But I do have a moment that's a little bit behind the scenes, kind of, that was just really fun for me personally. And it was while we were doing TSL 8. Bless poor Oli Moly's heart, because she tries so hard. And she's like Twitch chat is just an absolute cesspool, you know, during the tournaments. It's just how it is. And she's making sure that like there's like it's staying on topic. There's nothing happening that's really out of sorts. Like nothing's really getting by. So here comes me, who has mod privileges because I'm casting the tournament. Which is important. And I've also just watched JoJo Part 4 for the first time.
Nice.
So I'm like, oh man, I love this. This is like really good. And I start talking on the cast about this one character named Ashikage Kira. And he's got this famous copy pasta that's like real long. And she's been timing out every single copy pasta. And so she's like, man, it's not original enough, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, like come up with something better. And then I just start spamming this one copy pasta that's like, yeah, it's just a regular one, but it's like, my name's Ashikage. It looks like a dating profile, but he's like a serial killer. So it's like really dark in that context. So I just spam it, and just everyone, just pages and pages and pages, spamming it down. And then she DMs me after. She's like, I hate you. I can't believe you've done this. And I just ruined the whole chat for her, and it just made me laugh.
I think we all, even though we are supposed to be professional, like to ruin the chat every now and then. I have two
so much
copy
fun.
pastas that I absolutely love, and I will always throw in. I do believe that Nate has linked the exact VOD, so we can at least take a look at the fight of our upper 3 Zelda. Shame on you, Cell, by the way, for barcoding. I hope that's stopped by now. But this has to be one of the more painful fights of the year, with 83 army supply. I think we're gonna take a look at it.
One moment.
Everything is going wrong. No worries, Cobra. Take your time. Fuck up an attack harder than this. 83. This army, okay, it doesn't have any upgrades, but it's still so big and it's so good. And like basically, Max Max's entire army is useless. What he basically has is one Colossus.
Oh my god.
Kill the battery. Yeah. He's shooting at the next.
Oh no. Oh.
It's like 700 damage on the Nexus.
The Widow Mines.
He's got 3 Widow Mines here. If 2 mines shoot at the Colossus, this Colossus also dies. What are they shooting at? Yeah, these Zealots are getting in like 5,000 hits because of the overcharged battery. Oh my god.
The best part of that whole clip is the couple of
okay, now
units
you
at
don't
the
see
end
that.
just leave and are
Oh
like,
my God.
oh, that didn't go so well now, did it?
Poor Sal. To be fair, he played amazing to get in that position. Okay, there was a little bit of a build order advantage. We kind of need Fair Dragon for this. He is listening to us, but he can't speak at the moment. But okay, he's smiling. He's back. He was close. He almost had him. I mean, they had us in the first half. Fair Dragon had me in the first half when he sent over that replay. I was like, oh my god, Cell beat Max Packs. Until that happened.
You think I'd send you a replay where Sal is successful, Kev? Do you even fucking know my relationship with Sal?
Yes.
Oh,
and
man.
Go ahead.
This seems like we're bullying him so much, but like we all love him so much. Like he's so helpful behind the scenes. I just got to preface this before I say, you know, like fuck Sal, right? Like I just got to preface that by like everybody loves Sal. He's helped everyone out in the scene. He's just an awesome dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's what really makes it truly endearing is that he is so helpful, so we're an asshole to him. Like that's truly what I look for. Thank you for clarifying that, Dave.
All right, do we have any other KEKW moments? Nate, KEKW guy, any KEKWs that you could think of?
No, I think that one takes the cake. That's an excellent Sal throw, I believe, is the emote. Beautiful. I love you, Sal. You're always a fun guy to watch.
He is the sweetest. That's why I think it's so mean that you guys are so mean to him. But over that game, I had to be a bit mean. Like, the only time I've ever been mean to him is when he made me... Well, he didn't make me. But I was like, you know what? Sal's going up against another 5,300 player in the ESL Weekly. I don't have anything else to cast at 1 a.m. Let's do a TVT. But geez Louise, these TVTs of Up 3 Zelda are pure pain, man. It's like absolutely fucking nothing happens. They make 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions, and they shoot at each other. It's like, all right, now we sit back. And then Sal's like, what do you mean? Those games were great. I was like, no, they weren't great, Sal. They were pure pain. But other than that, we don't have a guy. Okay, let's move on then, and let's talk about our favorite player rivalries of this year. Waddy, what was your favorite player rivalry of 2021?
I'm trying to think of it, and I think it might have to be Doc versus Rogue. I want to say like Reno versus Clem, but it just doesn't stand up to like 2020 Reno Clem, I feel like, where they really did go at each other like every week, sometimes multiple times a week, and it was just amazing. So I think it has to just be Doc Rogue, and it doesn't really need any explanation. They played some ridiculous ZVZs. They met up so many times, and they probably should have just been in the finals against each other like 5 times, but they just kept meeting in like the round of 8 or something. So they just kept on eliminating each other. So yeah, I think it has to be Doc Rogue.
Ravi?
Yeah, I think I have a hard time with this one also. I think there's like some rivalries that like almost kind of became like a thing. I feel like that didn't quite. Like I feel like Cyril and Trap face each other, but the games are not always very good, especially more recently. So I don't want to mention that one as much. But I do think there's like a few other random ones like that. Like I think even just Cyril had like it's like kind of Cyril Clem had some like really cool and fun games throughout the year and stuff. But I'm of course going to embrace my NA bias and be like, I actually think that Scarlet versus Neeb, I feel like came back a little bit more as a rivalry this year, with Scarlet coming back into form and stuff and doing really well. So I enjoyed that.
Setfest?
Is this just pro player or is this general rivalries?
No, it could be Up 3 Zelda versus another guy on the ladder if you love that one. Go for it.
Okay, so for serious, favorite like rivalry was Dark Rogue first half of the year, then Max Pax Lambo second half of the year. They've had some pretty fun stuff. But my favorite meme rivalry is actually Rogue versus the fans. So it started out with the fans and the fan favorites taking out an early lead in the early parts of the year. We had Scarlet eliminating him early in the group stages of a GSL. I believe that was this year. Or was that maybe last year?
Was
I think
that
was
this
this.
I think that was last year.
It doesn't really work with my storyline, but either way, I'm going to pretend it was this year. And then, we had him getting eliminated in a couple tournaments early on, not really like performing like, oh man, is Rogue washed up because he hasn't won a tournament in 2.5 weeks? Because, recency bias. But then he really came back strong, and he absolutely took it to the fans. And he had some missteps where he accidentally had some really good series. Like there was one versus Maru in a finals where it was a really good series, and you're like, oh man, is Rogue's like attempt to destroy StarCraft II gonna stumble a little bit? And then he came in strong with TSL 8 and just obliterated any expectations of a good series, and capped it up with the shortest best of 7 in StarCraft II history, and it was great to see that he hasn't lost his touch.
That finals, guys. Let's just go off topic a little bit and let's talk about that, because that was actually one of the most ridiculous things I have witnessed in 11 years of StarCraft 2. I think I had you guys on the TV, and then I was like, there's a commercial and then there is some advertisement. I was like, you know what? Let's watch the last 20 minutes of Lazio Roma against some other shitty team in Italy, because I needed one more goal in that game to get some free dinner. So I was like, you know what? I'll just wait for this game. Obviously, nothing happened. Ended 0-0 or 1-1. I'm mouthing. And I put TSO on, and you guys are interviewing Rogue. And I'm like, What the actual? Why are they interviewing before the finals? I was like, this is fucking weird. And I open Wikipedia and it's over. Like, it was actually one of the most unreal moments I've ever had as a StarCraft 2 viewer fan following something. I could not believe that was over. A best of 7. Waddy, you were there. You were a first-hand
Mate,
witness.
you know, I thought I made my best money this year on the rehearsal day, but casting that final day might have been competition for it because I mean, geez, you had to cast 4 best of 7 epic TVZs in a row. I like logged into StarCraft. My BattleNet hadn't even loaded and the series was over, right? Like, it was ridiculous. I mean, you couldn't even cast it. It was like, oh. And my favorite part was the game Cyril wins is just so disappointing as well. It's like, oh, Rogue literally has no respect for you and drone pulled you. And you defended it. Congratulations. You got a map. It was just terrible. I mean, I don't even know, like Rogue just has something about him. Even the first series they played that day wasn't good. Like, it was
It was
better
great
than that.
compared to the finals.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like, is it the rematch factor? Was it the fact they had to play 2 best of 7s? Did Rogue just get in Cyril's head? I don't know, but it was just, yeah. I mean, I remember at the time me and ZG just being like, "How do we even cast this?" And then it ended. We interviewed him, and it was all done. And we were like, "Do we leave? Like, is the day actually done?" Like, we were just sat in Discord, like, "Is it right? Is it all right to leave? Like, can we go? Because I'm pretty sure we're still meant to be casting." Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then in the interview as well, yeah, someone in chat just mentioned this. The interview, like every time we're trying to ask him like questions about like, oh, so is it a bit of fun being bad, making finals bad? He's like, oh, I just really didn't think I could beat Cyril in late game. He's such a good player, and I'm like, okay. And then ZG asked something similar, like, oh, like why did he think? And he's just like, oh, Cyril's just so good in the late game. My skill's not there to beat him in the late game, so I had to cheese him. And it's just like repeatedly, like 5 times in a row, he just says, he's just better than me. I just had to cheese him. I'm like, oh my god, like it's just nothing you can do. Can't win.
Can you imagine in like a UFC fight or something? There's 2 fighters, and the one guy, he like knocks him out in like 30 seconds, or just like pummels him into oblivion. And then the other guy's like still unconscious on the floor. And the guy's getting the winner's interview, and he's like, yeah, man, he's just a better fighter than me. I don't know what to tell you guys. He's just better than I am. And the other guy's like literally like the medical staff is just looking at him. They're like, everyone's super concerned. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, he's just better than I am. That's what that interview was. Like, guys, he's...
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we all kind of probably knows what this means, right? Like, Rogue, as good and amazing as he is, and as much of a champ as he is, like, he got absolutely bopped by Dark in some of those late game CVCs, where Rogue was very far ahead, still couldn't close it out. So yeah, there is a good chance that if you get bopped by Dark, you also get bopped by Cyril in Lurker Viper Wars. And yeah, why play Lurker Viper Wars if you have the skill to not even let it get there and apparently just do a whole bunch of random shit? But it's like, whatever he does, it always works. Like, if the guy plays craps, does he just roll 6 all night long or something? It's like, it's a dice roll, but not really because I'm Rogue. Like, that's something special.
Honestly, it was like a really well thought out series. Like the builds he did were, except the 12 pull drone pull, that was just literally like a let's see if I 4-0 you in the shortest period of time possible. But like game 1, game 2, and game 4 were all really well thought out builds. So like it was Rogue doing Rogue things, but it was still like, man, you really ruined the shit out of this finals, didn't you?
It was one to forget or to remember because it's Rogue. Nate, any player rivalries that you really enjoyed throughout the year?
I like watching Rogue versus Maru this year. I love hating on Maru almost as much as anything else in StarCraft. But the back and forth between forgetting about the existence of roaches into the Super Tournament Finals, Game 7, and all of that getting nuts. And then kind of seeing him come back and take the strength towards the end of the year at the last season finals we had, I thought it was a good story, mostly because of how embarrassing that loss was to Rogue to start things off anyway. And I thought it was really interesting because it was Maru kind of refiguring things out, and then his final form was like, yeah, no, actually, I can take on whatever you've got now.
I think it's a very good answer. All right,
I've got one more entry. It involves myself. It's myself versus the timing of food at DreamHack. because
That one wins. That one
That was
wins.
so good.
100%.
it might
What?
be
Oh.
actually.
Go ahead. We have to explain,
you-
elaborate a little bit.
I feel like you guys are better to tell it than me. I'm involved, so.
Well, I just remembered in the Scarlet Inno series because all that Wadi wanted. The funny thing is, whenever we go to these live events, they always ask us if we have any wishes, and most of the time we're all very chill. But then sometimes people are on these health kicks, and they're like, "We just want healthy food." And when you ask that, you get really shitty, like potatoes that went to a microwave or something. And I'm like, "Why are we doing this?" Because they would also bring us like Burger King or pizzas whatsoever, and this stuff you're eating right now is not even healthy. So after 2 days of super mediocre food, finally the caster group came to a mutual agreement that it was time for some McDonald's. Waddy started smiling. He's like, "This is it. I'm so ready for it. The catering has sucked so far, but Mickey D's is gonna make up for all of it." And somehow it ends up with it arriving right when he starts casting, and he already sees the bags coming in. Todd always tries to be nice, so he puts the bag of McDonald's right next to the casting desk. Like Waddy can just take off his microphone and start eating a Big Mac or something. So Waddy's like, "All right, this sucks, but Conrad is playing really good." So I am really craving McDonald's, but it's 2-0. Things are looking up in the third game. It will still be somewhat warm by the time I can eat. Obviously, history wrote itself and innovation turned things around. It became an 1.5-hour series, and the McDonald's that Waddy was craving so bad was utterly shit.
It was utterly shit. That's actually a perfect descriptor for it.
I love that. That does remind me as well. With as far as that sort of thing goes, the casters versus PVZs this year. For the first time in StarCraft history, we didn't have to fight over who did the ZVZs. Everybody was happy to take them as long as we didn't have to do the PVZ.
ZVZ is fun. Let's be real, guys. Like 2021 and ZVZ is fun. Also because it's rare. Like Fear Dragon, you mentioned Water in the Desert before. Like whenever if I see a ZVZ in the semifinals, I mean, Water, I'm ultra chill, right? Like I always kind of just let you pick whatever series you want in the weeklies. But if there is a ZVZ, I'm like, bro, I'm over this, mate. Do you know how rare that is? That's like finding an Espion or something in one of these booster packs because they don't happen. So it's so cool when they finally do happen.
I just thought of another KEKW moment, not a clip, but a tweet. Do you remember Goblin when he tweeted out that he 3-0'd Clem in a best of 3 and everyone lost their minds? They're like, "Oh my god, Goblin is the worst human to ever live." And it was like, man, I think actually he might just be a kid and be excited about the fact that he won a series and was like, "Oh man, I kind of threw that game." And everyone was like, "No, we have to get rid of him. Does anyone have a fire we can throw him into?" And it was like, let's chill out.
I don't know if that qualifies as KEKW or I just don't get KEKW, but that was definitely one of the weirder dramas of the year. It's like,
It was
really?
dumb drama.
Yeah,
It was
out of
not
all
drama
the
at
things.
all.
Let's
Yeah,
add a category. Weirdest drama of the year.
let's
That
do
is
it.
a good category, actually.
Weirdest drama of the year. I mean, guys, we don't have a script. We can do whatever we want. It's the end of the year episode. We tried to get everyone else, but then some people are busy. People don't want to show up. But we are here. So it's our show. We can do whatever we want. Weirdest drama of the year. I think that one is a good starting point.
Well, don't
Everyone
everybody
was
go at
like,
once
"Wow."
now.
Wow.
Weirdest
Okay,
drama of the year
I'll bring
when
I'll
oh,
bring
sorry,
up
go.
I'll bring up a recent drama. I don't know if it counts
Ooh,
for the year,
oh
but
boy.
I know which one you're gonna say.
Liquid versus GP in the World Team League.
Yep.
Never have I seen the Liquid players be so riled up. Like, I got a message of Horston a couple of days before. He's like, "Mate, GP are absolutely us over." And I was like, "What?" Like, Horston never says stuff like this. He's always like full of love and full of laughs. And basically, I get sent like all these screenshots and stuff, and like this whole story develops. But basically, the moral of the story was basically like GP said that they couldn't play versus Clem ahead of time, even though they were allowed to play ahead of time. And it was just like, I mean, I don't even want to go into the whole thing because it's long, but basically Clem was set up to play, and then GP basically said, "No, we won't play ahead of time." My favorite part is that the admins come in, they're like, well, we did say Clem could play, but you know what, GP, you're right, you've been hard done by. How about you pick which player you want to play instead of Clem, and you get server advantage because you've been so hard done by Liquid getting to change their player. And I was like, no part of that makes any sense.
It
And
was
then
even
more-
they
Go
asked
on.
for even more though.
Yeah, they asked
They asked
for
for a
map
1-0
win.
lead as well too.
Oh, not only did they not tell their player in time to play against Clem, and that's why it was an issue, but they asked for a 1-0 lead because Liquid had to change Clem into somebody else. Is like eliminating Clem not like enough of a bonus? It was wild. It was big. Then I got the Chinese fans sent some hate mail because they felt like I was taking the league into my own hands and discussing the adminning. And I was literally just mentioning from screenshots what I had read between Liquid and the admins. I was like, I'm just repeating and telling people the story because I have to cast it. It was a good bit of end of year drama.
Cool resolution to that though. Hearthstone must have been like extra pissed off because he came in and just ended Team GP's career. Like he came in, he dumpstered Prince, and then he just Ryung, the player who actually ended up winning that match against the replacement for Clem, who was Mana, playing with ping disadvantage. He played Ryung in the ace match and dismantled him. And it was like Hearthstone was like, "What up now? Like, how many more points do you want for free, guys?" And it was just it was cool to see that.
And this was like a playoff defining series. So basically, like, the winner goes to playoffs. The like loser is out. So it's not like it was like the last match of the season. Oh, it was great. I was 10 out of 10.
Actually, this is the one time where I'm going to pull a stat fest, and I'm not sure if that was this year or not, because it's hard to keep track of the weeklies. But I'm pretty sure this was this year, because this was a long year. Hero Marine against Bly. Do you guys? That was this year, right? That was one of the weirdest random dramas of all time. Like, what? I don't even know the details anymore. It was just about like Bly went AFK and then Gabe wanted a free win, but then Gabe didn't want the free win anyway, but then he still ended up taking the free. That was so weird. And then people kept talking to me about my channel. They're like, "Hey man, have you seen what's happening on the Hero Marine stream between Hero Marine and Bly?" And I'm like, why? Like, who cares? And I don't even know if they ended up playing in the end or not, or if it was a free win, but that was a weird drama.
I think they did end up playing. I think that happened, and like, I'm pretty sure Hero Marine just dusted him anyways.
Yeah.
But it was like, wow, that was 45 minutes of nothing. And then everyone was like, oh man, did you see this crazy drama? Which one of them's going to get kicked out of the StarCraft II scene? And it was like, well, I've got some disappointing news for you. Neither, and you'll forget it in 2 days.
That was quite something. You have anything else for your Dragon or Nate, perhaps?
My favorite drama was the caster predictions of DreamHack versus the producer. And also casters versus each other and versus the Muslim.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Okay, I will say what I don't know if other people will say. There were some legitimate, like, Jimmy's rustled over caster predictions. Like, people got legitimately heated about this. It was, oh my god, it was so funny to watch from the outside.
I mean, nobody would ever believe us if we would say there were HR meetings, right? How would the prediction go?
There was an HR meeting over, you're right! Oh my god!
I just remember when we first started everything, and I'm just like, hey guys, I only have one request. Would it be okay if I just can I just be out of this? Can I not do the prediction thing? They're like, no, we're paying you. Everybody else has to do it. You have to. I'm like, I'd really prefer not to though. But that turned into way more of a headache than we needed. Oh, that's me to go. There's no baby go.
Oh, that's
good. You ended up winning though, mate. You ended up winning it all.
The weirdest thing for that was that was the first time that I had done like the A stream. So I had just joined this Discord. And I'm like, oh man, like everything's pretty good. Like we're just hanging out. And then all these messages come through. And like I can tell that one person is joking. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny. But like, sarcasm over the internet doesn't always work. But I'm sure it'll go over fine. And then sure enough, I have to go to work or something, come back the next day. And I'm like, wow, everything did not go over fine.
No,
There
things
was
got
a lot of problems.
things got a little heated, and there was
A
some
little heated.
miscommunication. But in the end, I can promise everyone at home, in the end, everything is fine, and everyone was
Yeah.
happy, and everyone
Everything's
still
fine
gets
in the end.
along. But
But
at one point, the prediction god contest became a little more fierce than it ever was supposed to be.
Can I just say also how terrible it was that Twitch chat scored better than the casters.
Well,
That
that's
was
Yeah,
because
well,
of
that's
you.
because of you, mate. I don't even
From
look
the
at that.
casters, that's really a testament to how much smarter Twitch chat is than the casters.
Mate,
Bro,
as
he's
long as
been
my
playing the
score
long
is
con for
higher than
this.
yeah. No,
this
I only
show.
care about one thing. I have to just be above Twitch shit. I do not affiliate myself with you and cats who try to get everything wrong for absolutely no reason. All right, let's move on then, guys. The 2179 Twitch chat at like 214 something. I'm owning Twitch chat. Let's move on. Let's talk about our favorite game of the year. Waddy, you watch a million games of StarCraft. If you'd have to put one game and one game only at the number one slot, what was the best game of the year?
Man, you know what? It keeps coming to me. This isn't my answer, but I feel like so many of my answers could have been Lambo versus Serral if Lambo had just won. I was so like, this is the most hyped I've been all year for that Lambo Serral final. I really believed they went to game 7. It would have been that, but obviously Serral winning is like, it just kind of, it just happens, and then everyone's like, oh, cool, whatever. That would have been cool. I think just Reno Maru, right? Reno dragging himself from down under and just getting himself on top again, and just great series, incredible StarCraft, amazing storyline. Yeah, I think it just has to be Reno Maru.
Yeah, and I guess in particular the game on Pillars of Gold, if I remember correctly, I think that one was the best one, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I think so.
That was epic. Fear Dragon, your favorite game of the year? Or series of the year, sorry. A series of the year.
Honestly, I feel bad because I'm just having so much trouble trying to remember. I remember there were some games I was extremely hype about. I remember there were some matches in like North America with like Nina getting some crazy upsets and stuff. I remember like those are the series that I remember. Like I remember Nee being super down, and then he played like a really hype series versus someone. I think it was versus Disc or something. Like those are the series that I remember, but I don't think that those are necessarily like series of the year. So I honestly I think I need to take like a massive step through every single event to try and remember, because a lot of it blended together. So I will go with some North American like Neeb versus Disc stuff.
Okay. Steadfast series of the year, Maru versus Serral, King of Battles, because you mentioned that before.
Either that one or Marvel versus Raynor, also King of Battles, like the previous couple of rounds. But I think I'm gonna alter the answer or the like answer to the question a little bit, because I think I'm gonna say favorite run actually of a player.
I mean, that's a different question. We can do that too, mate. Don't worry.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
dismant. Yeah. How about favorite rivalry, Steadfast versus the run of show?
Yeah.
Aye.
We'll add it to the list. No, go on. Actually, I'll ask Nate. Nate, do you have a favorite series of the year? Anything that really stands out for you?
Yeah, obviously I've talked a lot about like the Mara Road games and all of that, and I'm not gonna say this is the most interesting one. I posted the clip again, but I think about a specific game. I think about a specific moment. The Maru Solar Nuke at Katowice was freaking nuts. It felt like it was one of those things where maybe it wasn't the greatest series played of all time, but it was such a good moment in a game that went viral outside of just the stream. People were tweeting about it. People, there was a huge discussion, and it was just one of those things that's like, this just doesn't happen. And it was such a cap to such a crazy drawn out game, because this was, again, the 40-minute mark is where this timer is at. And it was just, like when I think about what was the most epic game that I watched this year, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know that there were a ton of things that get close to this nuke for me.
I mean, I want to say the same for Pig, but then again, Pig sounds this excited almost every time.
Those can kill the Vikings too. So now there's the defensive nuke, the panic nuke, but I mean, it takes a pretty huge mistake from a Zerg player to fall for this and get hit by that.
Oh my
goodness, he's trying to get that shot. It does land. He gets all the Brood Lords. What? Oh my God.
My God.
Oh,
I've never wanted to drop an F-bomb more than that moment.
because those can kill the Vikings too.
If you've ever seen someone so hard try so hard not to kill a ghost. This was it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about pig. I was like, all right. No, this was definitely, I think, one of the more epic moments of the year for sure. So I think it's a good answer. All right, Steadfast, let's go back to your thing then. You want to talk about your favorite run of the year of a player. All right, where do you want to go with it?
It's funny because I actually thought of an answer that to the previous one for favorite series. I think actually Max Pax beating Raynor for the first time in the. It was an ESL Open Cup. It was.
Yeah,
that was a weekly. It was very recent, but it was the culmination of Max Pax overcoming that last hurdle of players he had never beaten before in a series, and Raynor was the last one, so that was really cool. Just like a small one, but it was a neat culmination of him doing so well and just continuously rising over the course of the year. So I just remember that one. But for favorite tournament run has to be Scarlet. I guess we're switching gears now. I've taken over the show.
I mean,
again.
you've done it 3 times, man. I'm following your lead at this point. It's the end of the year episode. You guys are here. I'm happy that you guys are here. I just want you guys to have fun. So if you want to go with favorite run, we'll go favorite run.
I gotta go with Scarlet. What was
season finals?
Season finals, I believe, of Winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But she took down some incredible players after it kind of felt a little bit like, not that she had thrown in the towel in the career. I'm not going to say that at all. But it was kind of like feeling a little bit as though maybe she's coming to the twilight of her career, and you're like, when you're in a scene like NA, especially with Neeb kind of taking his foot off the gas a little bit this year, it can be difficult to maintain that competitive spirit. But I think all 3 of the players actually on Shopify Rebellion, Lambo, Bjorn, and Scarlet, have all seen insane reinvigoration of their careers and of their competitive spirit. And it's been so cool. And I know a little bit behind the scenes, and I know how they kind of have become a family. I know how much effort they put in to helping Lambo specifically prepare for that series against Cyril that you talked about. And I'm sure that's going to be somebody's answer. But Scarlet, at the season finals, just to put this in perspective, she 2-1'd Cure in her group, 2-0'd Trap, 3-2'd Zest in the group stage, and then just barely dropped 2-3 to Rogue. And these are all GSL championship caliber players. Cure had just won a GSL. Trap's won 17 GSLs this year. Rogue has won multiple GSLs. One GSL this year? He's won multiple GSLs. Yeah. Zest was a finalist in a GSL, finalist in a world championship. These are if you were to pick 4 Koreans at random and be like, tell me the best 4 Koreans in the past 5 years, you would probably get these players coming up a couple of times in that random draw, whatever it was. This was an insane run, and it was just really, really cool for me to see that. I was so excited.
Minor correction, she got 5-0'd by Rogue.
Yeah, according to Rogue. Yeah. Actually, I will forever. I think that run was amazing, but then I cannot believe that Rogue pulled off the building game 4 on Berlingrad that he did.
Yeah.
That made absolutely 0 sense to me as the favorite. You're doing that, it felt so risky. And then it works, and then he has an interview. He's like, yeah, I should have 5-0'd. I was like, no, you should have lost 3-1. Okay, it should have been over. All right, but yeah, long answer, but I get it. That's fast. Let's go ahead. Wardy, what was your favorite run of the year of any player then?
Bambo. It was just, he just came so close. Wasn't, I guess, great question, because now I actually get to say it. But yeah, he, you look at his run, he lost to Cyril in the groups, he lost to Cyril in the finals. There's never any shame there, but he came so close. Every time it went to the final map, he took down Dark in the semifinals, and that's always big when you talk about ZVZ and Korea versus Europe. He completely stomped down in the quarterfinals as well, which is to me, it really added to it as well, because that was oh wow, you just destroyed him. It wasn't even close. Not a single part of any game. He completely read him. And he also took down Rogue and Special in the group stage. So yeah, I mean, maybe on paper you look at the players he beat, and he's it was a Rogue off form and then Special. And then he beat Zaun in a matchup he's good in, and then Dark. It's it maybe doesn't stack up like Scott's run, but the way in which he did it in some of the games and how close he got to winning the whole thing, yeah, I think that one I'm gonna remember for a while.
You know, you guys mentioned a couple times that a lot of the things felt the same. If I know exactly what I was doing while I watched Lambo play against Dark, and I went to the supermarket and I just got some kibbeling, which is like fried codfish, I think. And I'm like sitting in my car, I was like, I kind of want to eat, I kind of want to drive, I kind of want to watch. I was like, I'm just gonna eat my kibbeling while watching this game. And I was like, legitimately, like my hands all greasy from the fish. I was like, fuck, I want to spam in water shit, but I quite can't, you know. But I was like, at the same time, I'm like just with my greasy thumb, I'm like, let's go after he won that final game. So I'm totally with you. I thought it was super hype. And also, I guess the run that he mentioned yesterday on the Players Pylon show, the one where he was doing very well in the DreamHack Summer, I think it was. That
Yeah.
was cool.
Top
Yeah.
But
three.
to me, finals are finals, right? And if you're in a grand finals and you're tied up 3-3 with Sarah, I mean, that kind of, it doesn't get more hype than that. So I'm completely with you on that one, Waddy. Fear Dragon, any favorite runs of the year?
I was trying to pick out like a specific one, but I think just there were some. I think it was like the fall season or the summer season. I was trying to remember which one. That Clem just had like a really impressive run, and I know like Clem won all of his European like region stuff, but man, he had like some really fun games. It wasn't just that Clem dominated. It was like Clem would drop to like the lower bracket or something, and then go on like a really sick run. I think it was fall, because that was the season that Raynor didn't make it to the season finals and stuff, right? He had to face Raynor, and then he had to face Max Pax, and he had to face Cyril, like, he had to face Hero Marine. He basically had to go through, like, all of the top dogs through Europe and everything. And that was, like, I remember that was the season that I was like, okay, Clem isn't just, like, really good and capable of winning, he's actually beaten every single top player here.
Nate, any memorable runs of any player this year that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I was already kind of thinking about this because we had on our little fake mini run of show, whatever, player of the year, most improved player of the year, players to watch, whatever. And then when I think about runs, I don't know that it's a crazy run, but I've had my eyes on Showtime this year. You know, he had a kind of a rough start in Katowice. Did not have like the performance that you maybe hoped for, but I remember in 2020, I was like, I want to see him like break through. You know, like, yeah, okay, he made top 8 a bunch, and we kind of expect that. He performs well in the online stuff, but I kind of wanted to see that you know, people make all the memes about Protoss or whatever, but I'm like, I want to actually see one of them go far in a tournament outside. I want to see a Protoss go further than just the front page where someone's complaining on Reddit about cannons. And Showtime getting 3rd place was one of the highlights for me in the Europe bracket this year. He's someone that I don't know. I like when we get to interview him. I like when we get to see him play. It felt like he made a little bit of progress, and that's that's my answer. I enjoyed following Showtime this year, even if I didn't get to see him raise a trophy yet.
No. Hopefully one more time. I definitely would love to see it from Mr. Maurer. All right, something completely different then, a little bit less esports focused perhaps, unless you want it to be esports. Your favorite streamer of the year, StarCraft II related 2021. Fear Dragon is already smiling because he's obviously going to say Up to Zelda. Go ahead. Why is Up to Zelda your favorite streamer of the year, Ravi?
Okay, to put aside the fact that I just love causing him pain, during the show, I gifted him a sub to someone called Sal is Trash, but
Jesus, mate.
Besides that, I think I have recently been enjoying a lot more like streamers who actually do interact and talk a lot more. I will actually say like Up a Tree Zelda is the obvious answer and stuff. I'll actually say like underdog streamer that I would say, which actually might be another category. So sorry, I'm gonna steadfast this show. I'll do a different category. But I think Captain Hoppa has been a really enjoyable like low key streamer that a lot of people don't know about. But he's got like some great memes and stuff going on. He does like a lot of chatting. He looks at the chat during his games or responds to stuff. He's got like a pretty fun, like aggressive playstyle and everything. So yeah, I'd say those two.
That's totally fine. Wardy, your favorite streamer of the year, and you can also just say, you know what? It's me, bitches. I've done it.
What can I say, guys? You know, record year and the numbers are good. I have a tough time because honestly, I feel like I've watched less Twitch this year than ever before. My Twitch highlights reel, whatever it was really depressing. It's like, oh, here's the 1 month where you got addicted to GTA, and here's like, you know, the 3 tournament streams you spent the most time on while you were casting them. I just didn't watch a lot of Twitch because I just been busy with life and stuff. So probably the Roddy Poker stream specifically. Me and Helen like the Roddy Poker streams. We like chill and have that on in the background. That's why my Twitch was so bad as well. It's basically like the first 4 months I watched like on my own chat, like on my own login. And then for the rest of the year, I've watched like downstairs in the living room where I'm just like not logged into anything. So I have like no hours on anyone's streams. I'm just like, so next year I'm going to log in on Twitch and I'm going to make sure that I get a proper review of the year. So yeah, I think that's that's probably my. Well, guys, my stream was pretty good too. It was on all the time. Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right, Statfast. Who
Taste.
was your favorite streamer of the year?
I mean, this is a little bit generic, but yeah, Up a Tree Zelda. He's always just a fun place to hang out. Like I was memeing about like, being a DGen, although I'm not actually like lying about that. I really am there. But like, it's like a really great place to blow off steam, and I don't feel comfortable doing that anywhere else.
Poor
Like-
Cell.
But like he it's content for him. Like he engages it, and it's fun, and it's fun like saying just the most ridiculous stuff and just getting that little smirk from him, and you're like, I made his day just a little bit better, like Papa Sal. And of course he's just so handsome, just such an attractive dude. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's been a couple of streams that have been pretty good beyond that as well. Outside of StarCraft II, there's a speedrunner who does Super Metroid, and he recently did Metroid Dread, Oats and Goats. He's just a really funny dude, and same thing, it's been nice to unwind. I got to echo Wardy in the other stuff because a lot of the time I spent on this particular, like my particular PC setup has been like ESL SC2 and ESL SC2B and like doing like admin stuff for that while running the tournament. So it's like, yes. And then smattered in there is Up a Tree Zelda at number 4. And it's just been kind of sad in that regard, but still good. But other than that, like, I mean, there's just been a lot of underrated streamers. Dave Testa streams a fair bit. He makes some silly memes there. It's fun. We also have a lot of pro players have started streaming, which has been cool. Uko GM_Uko.
Yeah.
Uko. Is a North American Zerg, an American.
I mean, I
Zerg,
say it
and-
Akko, mate. You're probably right. I play against him. I was like, oh yeah, Akko. I know that guy. Sorry.
But then like, I mean, obviously, like we were memeing about it a little bit, but realistically, Wardy has been the streamer GOAT for like he has just been busting his ass running tournaments. Yeah, there he is right there.
Where is he right now? Is he?
I think that they can only put so many dollars in his mailbox, and he has to empty it before they can put more in when those Twitch checks come through. So I think he's just going to clear those out for a couple minutes.
He actually just went live on his channel. He's got another tournament going right now.
He's casting in between being asked questions.
I love that it's like, man, he's so hardworking. Cobra cuts to the empty chair where he's
It was beautiful. I was just watching it. I was just watching upstairs. I was like, oh, Steadfast being really nice. I was like, shit, I'm meant to be there, right? I was getting Helen's hot takes on the on some of the answers, and they're definitely not suitable for stream. So
I want to hear it. Come on, give us a little.
No, I'm not sharing.
It can't be that bad. Helen is a
Apparently
sweetie.
she thinks the moment of your year should have been winning a poker tournament, the big one.
Oh, that was actually the only poker tournament I turned into for Roddy, and he won. Yeah.
Well, you should tune in more often then.
I mean, that was sick, guys. But we all know that money does not equal happiness.
Yeah, but it sure fucking helps.
And now go ahead and give me
Amen
some
to
subs,
that.
okay, Twitch chat? No. Yeah, I was obviously hyped, but yeah, it's a StarCraft stream, so that's different for me. All right, so who's your favorite streamer, Steadfast? Because I heard a lot of words, but no one specific. Is it just Sal?
I mean, that's me in a nutshell. Is a lot of words, no substance. But it's got to be Up a Tree Zelda. Yeah.
All right, Nate, who was your favorite streamer to watch, StarCraft 2 related, or perhaps non-StarCraft 2 related?
Yeah, my answer is a little bit similar to Wardy's because I was, and pretty much any spare moment that I had this year, I was just trying to get shit done because it's been hectic. But I mostly ended up because when I got my review, it was like, you watched ESL and Wardy, and I'm like, yeah, that's about it. But You know, one of my favorite streams I tuned into this year. It was so good, right? I'm like, okay, it's kind of late. I'm waiting for a flight to go to Europe, right? Whatever. I'm so excited for DreamHack, and I see this guy, and he's clearly had a couple, and he's not talking about how he needs to go to the airport in the morning. And now, I enjoyed watching your streams a lot, Kev, this year. I know I don't I haven't been chatting a ton because usually if I have something up while I'm doing stuff, it's on my second screen, and it's it was almost always just tournaments. I tried to watch a lot of that stuff, but yeah, I think probably the only Twitch I actually really watched was your stream and Wardy's. Watching Wardy open Pokemon cards was pretty fun, and then getting to see in real life Roddy getting the best possible pull out of the set in front of Wardy and Calaris. Like, you know, my sadism came out again. It felt so good to see Roddy basically get a natural 20 right in front of two people who would have killed for that card.
There is a better story here, actually. So the real story about this is that I haven't bought Pokemon cards in forever. And at first, I just loved watching Wardy open Pokemon cards. I just thought it was very funny, even though I had no idea what I was looking at. Then Rainer is here, and he's like, okay, we're watching this, but you don't actually like this, do you? I was like, no, I do like this. He's like, what the fuck, Kevin? Why do you like this? I was like, just look at the excitement right now and then hear the disappointment in his voice soon. And then at one point, like 5 minutes down the line, Rainer is cracking up with me every single time Wardy pulls another bad card. And he's just like, the levels of hypiness and excitement go down a little bit. Anyway, time goes forward. And I start buying some packs as well. And it was like, okay, we all had something. Wasn't too much. And then I was like, this is it for me, you know, like I haven't bought Pokemon cards in forever. Then Wardy and Claris are like, hey, we're buying more tomorrow morning. I was like, really? You guys buying more tomorrow morning? They're like, yeah. I was like, fuck, man, like I don't even have any money on my bank account anymore. But all right, I've got some cash. Like, Wardy, here's 100 euros. Just get me 15 packs, you know, so I want to be part of the boys. So they come back, and Wardy bought all the cards, a full box for himself and a lot of the booster packs. And he just like randomly grabs 15 out of the plastic bag, and he's like, these ones are for you. And then Calaris is like, I'm gonna laugh so hard if he gets something really good out of those 15, but it's like probably impossible. And I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just opening cards, and I was like, is this good? And Calaris is like, oh my god! And I see Wardy's like, what the fuck? I was like, is this good? And he's like, and Wardy's just shaking his head. So he basically had the best pack in his hands, gifted it to me. I had no idea what I was doing. That was actually, that was one of my happier moments of the year. Just knowing that you had it, but then you gifted it to me. That was
You know what? They say karma comes around, and you know I should be due some good karma for giving it to you, but the Pokemon gods say no, so still pulling nothings.
That was actually funny. And like,
you got like you got half a card, right, Wardy, in your pack? You had like a misprint.
What am I?
You got the most. You got the most.
Hang on.
It had two
got it
extra
right
cards. It had two extra cards, and one of them was in half. He got half a card in his sealed pack.
You guys ever just get half a card in your Pokemon pack? Yeah, I mean that was next. Roddy's getting like the best card in the set. Meanwhile, I'm getting half a card at the end. I'm like, you know, you win some, you lose some.
You know what? It was really
for
funny.
both of them, but I just laughed my ass off the whole time while it happened.
You know what's really funny is that I went to the studio again, right, 2 or 3 weeks later for the Warcraft 3 tournament, or was even just 2 weeks later. Yeah, they're like, hey, Wardy forgot a whole bunch of Pokemon cards, and they're all shiny. I was like, no, he already got these 17 times. He doesn't care, but they all kept your cards stacked in one of the corners of the caster room. I thought that was pretty funny, too. They were real sweet about it. They're like, Wardy forgot his cards. I was like, no, he's got those like 17 times already.
I had no way to take more cards back home. That was the issue.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we did this yesterday as well, and I also kind of spoke about my favorite streamer. And when the boys are here, I obviously need to be in my best behavior. And I said Gabe, and I do love Gabe, but we all know it's Coco. Let's be real over here. Let's move on. All right. Player of the year. All right, let's keep this short and sweet then. Steadfast. I don't want to hear 5 sentences. I just want to hear one name. Player of the year.
Maximus Paximus.
What? I mean, I love it. Come on, mate. No. Can't be the player.
No, we got to move on. No,
Sweet guys.
Oh my goodness, what's
short.
happening over here? All right, Fear Dragon, player of the year.
Trap.
Well, reasonable. Nate, player of the year.
Maru.
Body player of the year.
I was gonna say Maru, so I'll say Reno instead.
Okay. So everyone has a different. All right, Steadfast, talk to me then. How on earth is Max Pax the player of the year? And I'm a big fanboy too, and I think you know that. But come on, he's not the player of the year.
No one has had a bigger rise in this year, I think, than Max Pax, and I don't think it's even close.
Yeah, but
I
it's not
think
about the rise. No, there's a different category for like who's the most improved player of the year. But this is the player of the year, the best StarCraft II player of 2021, and that's not Max Pax.
I'm looking at the top, and it says favorite player of the year. I'm looking at that at the banner.
I just said player of the year.
On a show again.
Yeah, I mean that's Cobra. Best player of the year. There you go.
Oh, best player of the year, Rogue.
Okay.
Yeah. It would have been really funny if I'd stuck to my guns there, though.
Yeah, no, I mean he's good, but is he not good? All right, do we want to discuss, guys? Fear Dragon White Trap. Go ahead.
So I think like if I realized this when I looked at his actual like not recency bias and stuff about the fact that he's done like okay and like come close to winning events and stuff. But if you just look at his overall full history results, he's just won so much stuff this year. And his beginning of the year was absolutely killer. His middle of the year was also still really sick. Like he was winning, just actually getting first. I know that he did have a few events he like didn't do well in. Either he didn't qualify for or like he bombed out in group stage and stuff. But I think like overall, Trap just killed it, especially in a year where I think, contrary to what Steadfast is saying, not many Protosses were, I feel like, doing super well in like the late stages of tournaments.
Yeah, no, totally fair, mate. Wholesome had the same pick as you. I don't know if you watched yesterday or not, but Wholesome also said Trap as player of the year. Wadi, is there anything you would like to elaborate on?
He's the world champ, and I think you got to remember that Katowice was this year. I feel bad almost for like forgetting about Katowice earlier. So this is my makeup. I actually think what he did at the start of the year was very impressive. Katowice season finals, right? You know, he really he definitely didn't have like a strong in the middle year, but yeah, his start of the year was very, very impressive and played some like amazing StarCraft. I'm sure it's going to step up again as well.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, we were waiting for Pig. Cobra, could you hop into this show real quick and tell us what's happening with Pig? Because Pig said he's going to be a little bit late, and we're used to that, but we're 2 hours in now, so where the hell is Pig?
One second.
Cobra's here.
Oh.
Okay.
While Cobra's talking about that, I'm just going to say that I've done some like little hangout calls and stuff with Pig, and every single time he's like, he will be the one that schedules it, and he's like, let's talk in an hour. And he'll show up 3 hours later. He's like, sorry, guys, lost track of time. I'm like, hey, you're the motherfucker who scheduled this. Like, what do you want? Oh, my God. I love him, but, man.
I'll meet you on the other side of town in person in 1 hour. See you there. Good luck.
He's like, sorry, I had to take a flight, actually. I'll be there in a couple days.
It's like, sorry, guys, I just accidentally went live. Let me wrap up this 4-hour stream. And I may actually stream me eating lunch as well. But after that, I'll definitely hang out with you guys. Like,
once the sub timer, once my subathon's done, I'll be right there.
Like, guys, unless nobody subs, I'm available at 3. But if we get 1 or 2 subs, I'll be live till 5:17. So then it will be a little bit later. It's like, wow, I just did not expect this kind of hype.
See, what you don't realize is that Pig's actually live right now, and his subathon goal is keep me from going on the pylon.
Yeah, probably.
For everybody that subs, I'll tell them I just need another 2 minutes.
No. 100 bits equals 45 minutes of extra streaming time. So he's never going to be on, guys. I don't know where Pig is. We hope that he still shows up, but it is what it is. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead then to a category where you can actually talk about Max Pax. I think we're kind of unanimous here. Most improved player 2021. Wadi, I was already in your chat the other day. You're giving out awardees too. I said, mate, it's Max Pax. It's not even close. Who is the most improved player of 2021, according to you?
Before we move on from the Pig thing, just to defend him, he's on vacation, and it's super early for him, and he would have been on a phone, and he's not sure because he was having drinks the night before. They're a day ahead of us. He's partying for New Year's. something something. That's about all the excuses I can give him.
Oh,
but-
it's New Year's Eve over there, huh?
Yeah, so like
guess.
he was out with friends.
Not yet.
and-
Come on, they are not that many hours ahead. It's fucking like noon, okay?
I
It's
don't know
noon
how
on
this shit works.
We've done the
No.
sleeping cam with
I
him
think
before. We
it's
could have
like
just pot tossed that
7
up.
or 8 in the morning.
Is this man can literally sleep on stream and he can't turn his phone on for the Pylon show?
Love you, pig. Sorry.
You didn't pay him enough. That's the truth of it. That's the fact it.
Okay,
Cobra tries to defend poor Piggy, and we're just like, no, we are taking this man down.
Pig lost
Like
all
7
of my like.
expenses.
No, Pig lost all of my like goodwill and benefit when he was like literally stops responding to Discord messages. The way that Maynard, Zombie Grub, and I have to communicate with him is we have to donate to him to talk to him. Like, what the action? Like, no, you've lost all goodwill. Right?
He's paywalled your friendship.
He's paywalled communication with him. He doesn't
To be
look at
fair,
Discord.
To be fair, you did that to me for a TSL rehearsal that I wasn't
Yeah.
aware of. I'm just like playing some games. Only I get like
minutes in.
yeah, I got like a bunch of bits. I was like, oh, thank you so much for it. And he's like, hey, shouldn't you be somewhere right now? And then Zombie Grub resub, shouldn't you be somewhere? I was like, I'm right where I want to be, guys. Keep on giving me money, but no. Yeah. I mean, it happens, right? Things
Sorry,
happen.
pig. That's about all I got.
Oh.
You know, it was really funny. We had a pilot show a while ago, and I also tried to get Pig on, and Pig is like, too early for me, man. I was like, it's okay, I can make it later. He's like, nah, that's my streaming time. I was like, so is there anything I can do? He's like, I was like, I would like to talk about at least the Piggy tournament. I was like, okay. So then we had a pilot show. We were live for 2 hours. He came on, talks about the Pig tournament, leaves before the Patreon Q&A. And I think Rainer was here, and Rainer's like, kind of a douchebag move, no? I was like, no. I was like, he said this in advance. He said he would come on to talk about this tournament. He's like, yeah, but why didn't he stay? I was like, no. It was actually agreed upon. So we're just giving Pig a hard time because we love him. And he's handsome. He can take it.
He was responding to a favor from us to come on there at all, actually. So, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I was like,
Okay,
no,
sorry,
Pig.
Wardy. I didn't mean to interrupt you for quite so long. Go ahead.
It's okay. Roddy interrupted me last time I tried to talk about most improved player as well anyway on my stream. Yeah, I was like trying to think who was most improved. I was like, yeah, maybe like Ryung's had a good year from nothing, but yeah, right, Max Packs. I didn't realize like Max Packs grew so much like this year specifically. So when you point out like the difference in last year versus this year, it's not even close.
Yeah. I mean, the best example is how much he improved in that one game versus Infantry Assault. I mean, he went from like not so great to just immediately like able to knock him out.
You know what? Stackfast was right. He is the player of the year. If you can take out 85 army supply or Sim Bio with one Colossus.
How many Protoss players could resume from replay and win that fight? I don't know.
No one.
I think the truth is out there.
Yeah. You know, if you would resume that game from replay, you put Trap in there. Trap would do Alt F and F10N immediately. He'd be like, this is unwinnable. Like, he would leave. So Cell would have beaten Trap, but he would not have beaten Upper 3. So, all right, Statfast, I'm sure that you're going to say Maxi Paxi, right?
Yeah, this is super easy. Foreigner Protoss, really had a huge rise. It's got to be Trigger.
Okay. I mean, he is good
No,
too.
The Trigger has been very improved, but like, yeah, it's Max Pax and it's by a huge margin. Like he's just been so freaking good, man. Like it's been anyone who's casted, like obviously Wardy and Roddy, you guys know, you've seen it, but like week to week, we've literally seen an improvement. And like there have been times where I'll see he'll make one small mistake in a series, and like the next day he'll make an adjustment. Like I think my favorite part was when he moved a stasis ward, like I don't know, 6 hexes up in his base or something, and it meant that instead of the stalkers blinking into the state, or like one stalker blinking into the base and triggering the stasis ward, the whole army blinked in, and then he caught the whole army, and I was like, holy shit, dude! Like that's like so smart, and I'm just like, how do I macro good? And Max Bax is like just doing all these things perfectly.
All right, Nate, you agree with Maxi Baxi?
Yeah, I think I also kind of threw my hat in the ring for a little bit for I thought Showtime made a good step up results wise, but yeah, all good arguments.
Alrighty. I mean, I obviously don't want to keep you guys forever. I know that Cobra has a couple of fun clips in store for us, but I do want to ask two last things. And obviously, Waddy, if you feel like you have to leave because Helen is lonely or the puppy is lonely, you don't have to stay till the end. But I'm having a good time, and I think most of you guys are having an alright time. So you just let us know, Waddy, whenever it's time for you to go. But players
okay,
to
I've not been
watch.
shout out yet. All good.
You have not? Okay, no. I mean, I'll give Helen some love next time I see her. Okay, I'll bring some flowers and some chocolates, and I'll walk the dog when I come to Newcastle.
She will
so
remember this, so you need to be careful.
I'm a man of my word. I think Helen will let you get away with it, and me. All right, players to watch in 2022. Some names quickly then. Fear Dragon.
I'm just gonna give the NA ones. Trigger and Disc. Disc was killer this year. I was super happy to see him do so well. And he has a great stream. Go check it out.
Ooh, I'm not sure. There's a lot of cool people who've been fun to watch. Like I want to see more of Battleby, maybe. He's had a few cool moments this year, so I'll just say Battleby. Keep it simple.
Battle Buddy.
Yeah, Battleby.
Statfast.
I gotta echo it. Battleby. Yeah, he's
Battleby. I like Battleby.
Yeah, you got me. You immediately just broke my brain.
Nate, any players that you think are players to watch in 2022?
I have players I want to see do better. I think players I'm excited to watch myself. I don't know if I have my finger on the pulse of who's going to be the next big star, but I'm very interested to follow Showtime and Estrella next year. I felt I had high hopes for them in 2021, and I hope they can reach them next year.
So that goes into our next series, most disappointing year.
I mean, that's fine. If you want to once more change the run of show, who do you think is going to retire in 2022, Statfast?
I actually think we did this.
I'm heading out.
Did we do this last year?
I think we actually did talk about most disappointing performance.
Oh no.
Now, we talked about most disappointing performances in 2021, but like I think you can make that weird. At the end of the day, like in a regular sports show, they would also talk about, like, it doesn't have to be bashing a player, just that you hoped for more or you expected more. Or actually, in a way, it's a compliment because you expected them to have better results than what they actually had in 2021. But, I mean, I don't want to make you guys uncomfortable, so we don't have to go there. Unless you want to go there for the record.
Can we say casters?
Absolutely. Who disappointed you?
I'm not saying it.
Why not?
You guys, you can extrapolate.
I have a better question, I think. Kev, I really want your opinion on this. Who in 2021 was the best Dutch StarCraft YouTuber? Because I'm conflicted. I'm a French was easy for me. Russian wasn't too difficult, but that Dutch YouTube StarCraft scene is just so competitive.
What's happening with my camera, by the way, Cobra? Are you doing that, or am I just becoming a Marvel superhero over here? I mean, it could be my camera.
They turned on the UV light in Kev's room.
Roddy's fading into his background to avoid the question.
Oh, sick. No, the Dutch YouTube scene is feisty. Yes, Uthermal's going at it. Wholesome, very consistent. How can you go against Loco, guys? Come on. I don't see how that's a competition.
Too many
because Loco's been doing it forever, right? This is like where you give Wholesome the award because it's like it's new and it's fresh, and it's like most it's like, do you get best up and coming Dutch YouTuber? If you do, then maybe it is. But
best veteran Dutch YouTuber, I have to give it to Loco. But best new Dutch YouTuber, it has to be Harston, of course.
If we are giving out awards, I just want to say that my favorite StarCraft 2 commentator out of Scranton, Pennsylvania is Nathanius. Nate, for the last 11 years, undefeated, uncontested. You're the best, mate.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Kev.
All right, where were we, guys? Players to watch in 2022. We all got our names in, right? Something else then, I guess. What are we looking forward to in 2022, whether it's StarCraft 2 related or something in your personal life? Why don't you start, Fear Dragon?
Ooh, I mean, I already kind of mentioned, like, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing players and stuff at events, because it's fun hanging out with all the casters, but I think there's, like, a different vibe and stuff that you also get when you get to go hang out with players and whatnot, so I'm looking forward to that. And I think besides that, I'm looking forward to when Frost Giant makes something playable. That's the other thing I'm looking forward to. So
22 though, do you believe in that?
oh, I don't know if it's 2022. That's a good question. We'll see.
A man can dream. Wardy, hopes and dreams 2022.
I hope you're coming to Newcastle, mate, because otherwise Helen's going to be close to the point.
How come? Definitely come, mate.
Yeah, personal life, I want to get away somewhere again, like have a bit of a vacation actually, and maybe go somewhere. Even if it's just like after a StarCraft event or something, like being able to stay a few extra days and like hang out and stuff. That'd be kind of nice. So hopefully we get some good event places next year. StarCraft wise, I should have just stuck to the personal one. There's like 2 things in StarCraft which I'm really looking forward to, and I can't talk about either of them. One I found out about a couple weeks ago, and I'm really excited about it. The other one I've been working on for a few months. I kind of wanted to announce by now. Stuff happens. Just apparently certain things take longer than I think they do, and they cost a lot more than we think they do. But I've been working on something pretty hardcore for like a few months now and really going at it. It's going to be absolutely badass. It's going to be, I think, one of the best things of the year. And I will say that with confidence, I believe. So look forward to the mystery project.
That can only mean that I'm involved, right?
You know you're involved already.
I know it. I can't wait. That fast. What are the hopes and dreams for 2022 and things that you are very excited for?
I'm hoping and will be going full time with the streaming and the casting and all that jazz. I'm very close now, but we're not quite there. I'm still working a little bit on the side, but I'm also hoping and looking forward to live casting an event. Is because I got flown out for King of Battles too, but it was a little bit like less. Like it wasn't like going to a dream hack, you know, like and huge thank you to Some Drunk Canadian for bringing me out there. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun, but it was just like the 2 of us in a room, and we're just, you know, both boomering our way through the stream, fumbling on stuff. It was still a lot of fun. It was really good. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it would be really cool to like I don't know, go to Sweden or something, or go to wherever one of those events happens to be. So that's my big goal and aspiration.
Nate, are we getting married in 2022?
I hope so, man. You know, I didn't put a time frame on it because I feel like when you try to set dates, especially as any self-employed contractor knows, everything magically ends up getting booked on that time. So we're hopefully gonna do in the summer. Yeah, that's the aim. You know, we'll see what things look like when we get there, but for 2022, I've started learning how to actually edit videos and do some post content. So goals for me, I want to find something like I can do like a series or something and make good StarCraft content again is something that I would like to do. But maybe in a format that's going to be less depleting, or I can show a better side of myself for that stuff. But I want to make a good YouTube series for StarCraft. I want to get the house, get married, of course. I got some big aspirations. I got some big aspirations I'm trying to make happen. But yeah, that's about it. Maybe get more shredded, lose some weight. I'll throw that in there. Why not?
I'm with you on that one. All right. Well, I think then we kind of covered all the basic stuff. Unless, Wardy, you want to give out an award for the best StarCraft II moderator of the year. Is this the thing that you're interested in?
Nah, it's really hard to differentiate. Reynolds does such a good job. There's a couple other guys that drop in every other week or so. It's if there was a clear front runner, we could do it. But I feel the show's been long enough. We'd be going on debating the pros and cons of everybody. So I think it's best we just move on, Roddy.
I kind of like Fear Dragon, even though he always unmods himself. I do think he's one of the finer mods out there.
Efficient, 100% ban rate while he's a mod.
Exactly.
That's true.
If you think about it, I know that I'm the biggest degenerate in chat, so effectively I'm banning myself.
All right, so that is kind of it for me, at least for me being in charge. This is where I kind of hand over the wheel to Cobra. And Cobra, I believe you have a bunch of funny stuff for us to take a look at.
Let's start with some cool fan art from this year that couldn't really show on the last episode. We were a little bit busy and behind, but some of the stuff that's been consistently solid is from Nicholas. He's created so much fun stuff over the past more than last year, But here's one of my favorites of his is this reimagined poster. Some of the stuff that the StarCraft Observer has sent in, his stuff like this. Let me see if I can zoom in these a little bit.
Ooh, that's super cute.
Yeah.
There's some really creative people out there that make a lot of things out of paper.
Origami Ultralisk?
Yeah. look at this one.
How many times do you have to botch that before you get through? Oh my goodness.
I don't know, but
that looks like that'd be like a saw trap to be like, make this. Here you go, or you die. I'm like, you know what, man? Just end me.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
This one almost looks like a Warhammer table. Like the amount of detail on that. Like
that's really cool. I heard that.
To me.
I heard that you can hide your units in the blue crystals to keep them safe.
Oh.
This is Legos.
This stuff is so sick, honestly.
And of course, we have to mention all the work that this individual has done.
Saito. Come
Saito.
on.
Yeah, I can't. I'm
This
bad with names. Saito.
individual.
I'm so
Jeez
sorry.
Louise. This
Saito.
individual has a name.
I don't want to butcher it, and I feel terrible every time. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
And then we have a couple images that are memes that are sent in. I don't know about how the Muslim's going to feel when you're marrying Nate, when cheating on him, when you clearly have this going on with the Muslim here. I don't.
that was before he fell in love with the elephants. Okay,
Oh,
he's
okay.
dead to me right now.
He's got some trebuchets over there, huh?
Then we got some good memes that have been sent in over This is in my head how I've always pictured Todd, so this makes sense here. Then we have Take TV doing hot tub streams before they were cool.
I love how Horston, by the way. Horston has been so nice to Take TV. One day, Dennis should absolutely buy a Lambo for Horston because he has done a million sellout segments, and Kev is like one of the least selfish guys I think on this planet. He just gets hoard out left and right, and Dennis just buys another jacuzzi, and it's all good.
We have several memes that are in image format that we've showed on and off, but Cyril being washed up is one of them.
Would you say this is a quality meme? Is that the term that we had to fight over 3 years ago in the Great War of memes?
Oh no!
On the Reddit war.
Oh no!
Low effort meme.
Is
Was
this a
Low
low
effort
effort meme?
Low effort.
If we zoom in here, they clearly did some work on getting Rainer in this phone, so maybe that's not low effort. I don't know.
The image does
if you zoom in a little
fit.
bit more. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of buried into the ground there. I don't know. It's not looking so hot right there.
I mean, I can see where clearly the image of Raynor is being tilted on the right-hand side, where it's like clearly not over the phone case. I feel like this could have been higher efforts.
Other than that, I don't have too much more. There's a bunch of clips, but we've played a bunch of them, and a lot of them are being circulated around. We're kind of long on time. For me, on 2 different points as updates, we do have a poll that we'd like some little bit of feedback going forward in the next year about what you'd like to see on the Pylon show, what's your favorite things, stuff like that. We'll do our best with it. One thing to note is we've just done 3 Pylon shows in the last 36 hours or so. I have a flight in about 2 hours that I need to catch to go back east to visit my family for Christmas and New Year's. So the last 3 Pylon shows might take a couple days to get uploaded to YouTube and get the timestamps done, all those, but we will get them done as soon as possible. That's about it from me. We might take most of January off in terms of Pylon shows because I'm going to be traveling and a bunch of other stuff is going on, but we'll be back at some point soon. We'll try to do a better job about updating the Twitter and Discord. That's about it.
Alrighty. Fear Dragon, before we close out the evening then, is there anything else that you really wanted to talk about, whether it was I don't know, StarCraft related, 2021 related whatsoever?
I think we covered most of the stuff I wanted to talk about. The one thing I did want to shout out, because like I think it's kind of hard and it's really easy to miss. But I did want to actually mention just really quickly, in case like we get to see more of it next year, that one of the underrated StarCraft events in terms of like production and just like overall fun and like coolness and like craziness of games that you get is actually the ESL Australia stuff. ESL Australia, like they actually have a studio and stuff that they put together. They have a bunch of really like super like underrated commentators like Light VIP. They still have like Maynard and Pig, and they'll get like Zeph and whatnot. It's actually a really fun show. So if you guys are looking for like something a little bit different in StarCraft content, that was actually one of the events I did want to call out and be like, hey, yeah, it's actually pretty fun.
Maynard and Zeph are super based.
Maynard and
Thank
Zeph
you for
are-
joining us tonight, Ravi. You're the best. You're the goat. Keep being
Thanks
mean
for
to
having me.
Sal, as long as you're generous.
And
He
if you
doesn't
want,
need you to tell him to do that.
If you ever want to release stress, think of Sal up a tree Zelda as your stress ball. Just squeeze all of the happiness out of his life, and using that effort, you yourself will feel better.
All right. Wadi, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Do you have any final words or anything else you want to say about the year 2021?
Nothing crazy. Shout out to Helen, who's definitely got us through this year because she did a lot of the house stuff while I continued to cast StarCraft. And we quite literally got my room set up and nothing else in the house. So it's still she's literally still living out of boxes, and I'm here. I'm like, oh, I could put a Christmas tree behind me. I'm like, oh, I could get some new shelves. So yeah, shout out to Helen because this year wouldn't have been possible without her, and just in general, the stream has been great and stuff. So thanks everyone for watching. Excited to do more StarCraft in the new year.
All right, thank you, mate. I'm excited for it too. And tell Helen that I'm grateful as well, that you can just be you. Nady Pooh, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Do you have any final words about, I don't know, anything you want to have final words about?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've heard some questions. People are always curious about what's going to happen, and the future is an uncertain thing, of course. And I'd like to just say that it's been awesome to come here and talk about the year, and I'm excited because I know little secrets. Wardy's given a couple of hints, but there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that people are still busting their ass to make as high quality StarCraft content, tournaments, and players doing their best to give us the great games and awesome stories to follow. And so I just want to remind everybody there's a lot of awesome stuff to look forward to next year. I think that some of the projects that are coming up are going to be really popular. I think we're going to have lots of fun stuff to talk about and watch, and that's that's it. I'm just excited for getting back into the swing of things, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get a live tournament where we can all come together and celebrate the game again.
Yep, with the fans and the players. Because Cass in the studio is pretty fun, guys. But if that's the highlight of our life,
I love eating chicken nuggets with you guys, but
yeah, come on, guys. We can do better than that. Everyone knows it. Thank you so much for joining today, Nate. Last but not least, Statfast once more. Thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any final shout outs for the beautiful year that was 2021?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to you guys. You guys shouted me out last year, and it kind of, gave me a little bit of a boost. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, like this is the year. This is the year of Steadfast. I mean, it's always the year of Hearthstone, but I think I managed to nestle my way in there a little bit, and it's been an incredible year. Shout out to all the fans who continue to support. Like it's been really, really awesome, and I wouldn't be where I was without a ton of both personal support and support from people like that. And shout out to you guys for having me on here as well. Shout out to Chicken Man, who also went full time this year. Hopefully we'll see more of him at some premier tournaments. And yeah, I'm just really, really, really grateful to be where I am. This has been the most productive year probably of my life, and that's pretty cool for me.
I'm happy to hear it, mate. And
Good
thank
shit,
you
bro.
so much for coming on. Not just today, but also all the other times that I asked you, because it's been an absolute living hell trying to get people to agree to the Pylon show, trying to get people to show up. But whenever I reach out to you, you're always there. So I truly appreciate it, mate. Thank all of you guys for showing up today. We hope that you guys had some fun. I don't know why you're showing my Twitter right now, Cobra. I'm done. I just want to tell everyone a big thank you for tuning in for this Pylon show and all the previous episodes as well. Hope you guys had fun. I think I speak for all of us when I say we did our best to give you guys some fun StarCraft over this year. And hopefully next year is just going to be as good or perhaps a whole lot better with a couple of live events where we can all just go and do the things that we used to do, because I think that's what we're all kind of longing forward to. So that's it for me. Happy New Year's, Cobra. The end is yours.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good evening, y'all. My name is Fumble McGuffin, and I'm here to talk to you about the state of StarCraft. It is well known that the team that was actively developing the game was thrown out. And then the whole company got in a big load of trouble. So the question is, what keeps the game alive? Now, I have the information for you. If you look above me at the $100, $50, $25, $20, $15, and $10, these people are helping out with their own dollar. I'm talking $10, that could have been a Chipotle burrito. $15, add chips and a drink. But instead, they support StarCraft. Instead of paying for some other game, they say, no, I want to see the Pylon show. What is the Pylon show? The Pylon show is a pillar of the community. It is the meeting place. It's the common ground where the StarCraft people are summoned together by this money, actually. How do you get the guests on the show? We will pay you for your time. It helps, I'll tell you. But somebody's got to pay them. Who's it going to be? Some big sponsorship? No, it's them. It's Shane. It's Field of Sins. It's them. $10. All of them. We appreciate that. And without them, we'd be fucked.